Hello and welcome to Martinsville Speedway. 5 races left in the Elite JoinAPS Cup Series, the 2021 regular season. Before we go chase racing, it's coming down to crunch time, and we've got a very tricky short oval here tonight, the Paperclip Martinsville Speedway. We're looking forward to some fantastic short track action here tonight. My name is Rishav Khosla, joined in the booth by David Westergreen. David, talk about just some of the challenges these drivers are going to face. As you see right there, as Michael Goodman goes up into the wall after finishing that qualifying run. Might have just been closing it off there, but certainly going to be a challenging racetrack for a lot of these drivers.
Rish, it's going to be I think a bit of a long night. You know, we've had some short track issues with kind of contact on this series this year, and we're back at Martinsville once again, another short track. I think the biggest issue is going to be whether or not these guys can be patient. 250 laps, half the distance of what we ran at Bristol, but still a long race where you're not going to have a whole lot of room. It's going to be very difficult to pass, and we're going to see guys taking advantage of each other, trying to outbreak each other. That's going to lead to some crashes that maybe we don't feel like are particularly necessary to the rest of the race. You know, it's going to be whether or not these guys can keep each other on track, driving straight. That's going to, I think, determine whether or not we have a good race tonight.
Absolutely. Patience is going to be critical here tonight, and we know it's something that the drivers of the Elite Racing Leagues have struggled with a little bit in the recent past, though. Qualifying certainly gets you a spot on the grid and can make a pretty big difference at a track like this where, you know, overtaking might not necessarily be the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, I think track position is going to be huge, and what we've seen at Martinsville before with the Cup Series, especially because the Elite Racing League hasn't run here in quite some time. The Cup Series, especially, you can take 2 tires and kind of get out there, and as long as you're running that bottom lane, able to hold your own in terms of speed, no one can really hang with you or pass you. It's just so difficult to outbrake people in entering these corners, and I think we're going to see that all night. These guys are going to be lined up, trying, and you don't want to be on that outside lane, I don't think. But there's going to be overdriving on the corners. There's going to be some loose entering. It's going to be really tough for these guys to put together, you know, a lot of consecutive laps. But I think they can do it. They just have to, like I said, be patient, take care of each other, and you know, be ready for those potential moments where something can happen.
Absolutely. Well, we're just finishing up qualifying here pretty quickly, but Johnny Thomas right now could be the man who's walking away with that best starting position. Right now sits on the provisional pole. We still have a couple of cars going around the racetrack, including your regular season points leader, Ryan Gavel. He's just finishing up his run, though, and Gavel goes up to P2, not quite able to beat Johnny Thomas.
Those are P1 and P2 in points. Gavel and Thomas are both very, very fast right now. They're just really seeing the track well. They're running every race. Consistently strong, and you know, we saw Gavel get taken out last week at Las Vegas while Thomas put in yet another top 10 run. I think that the difference between those 8 points right now, but it could certainly grow. Those guys have just been so consistent right now, and it seems like the consistent guys are outpointing the race winners. You know, we have a bunch of different race winners, but they're all very far down in points. Our top 6 in points have 0 race wins among them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an incredible statistic right there about this season, but it really has been that kind of, you know, racing. You've had guys who've won races but then haven't been there in other races and have been unlucky or taken out in other incidents, and it's certainly not been the cleanest of seasons for most of these drivers. So yeah, like you said, Ryan Gavel, Johnny Thomas, Gerald Campbell, Jared Rexing, Josh Adams, and Ethan Burrell, your top 6 in points, none of them with any race wins. But, of course, all of them with extremely consistent results, all of them with at least 4 top 10s of the 5 races counted towards their points.
Yep. I think the guys I want to see Ryan Gavel or Johnny Thomas come home and pick up a win. I think Martinsville is a great place to do it. You're going to have to keep your nose clean, and they're starting in the best spots. One of those guys, you know, that would really solidify them as the chance to win that regular season championship. It's going to take a monumental effort, I think, to finish it up, because we are so close throughout the field. I mean, there are 8 drivers now within one race, maybe 9 if you count all the bonus points. So yeah, it's going to be really, really key as to whether or not you can win in the regular season championship, if you can win a couple of these races along with that consistency.
Yeah, well, this is definitely going to be an interesting one. The final short track that we're really heading to in the regular part of this season. And really, generally, the final short track that we're hitting. We will hit New Hampshire Motor Speedway later in the year, and that probably favors a little bit more, but it's a larger racetrack, mile-long racetrack. This is really the last time we're looking at a much shorter racetrack like Bristol we had earlier in the season. So, again, one final time for these guys to kind of get some of that short track anger out of the way and a lot more intermediate tracks and larger tracks to finish out this season.
Yep. The regular season chase for the championship boils down to Martinsville, Pocono, Charlotte, Darlington, and then Daytona once again. As we look through the starting lineup, I think that that's a good mix of tracks, and especially given tonight's kind of a wild card nature, these guys are really going to have to find a place for points. I want to note Brandon Key, returning back to the Elite Racing Series, was able to rejoin at Erska last Monday. Now back with us. Good to see him back after some health issues.
Yeah, absolutely great to see Brandon Key back. I know he's been rooting his team, Ruthless Motorsports, on from the couch the past couple of weeks, but great to see him back behind the wheel of a car and looking forward to seeing how he's going to fare tonight on his return to the Elite Racing Leagues.
Yep, as we finish throughout, Gerald Campbell, one of our top points getters throughout the season so far, third in points, starting way in the back of the field, 32nd.
Yeah, a lot of these guys here with no times in terms of qualifying. Not sure if they opted out of running a qualifying lap or what exactly was the decision making there. Could potentially be something, just maybe run it in the back for the first few 100 laps or so. It is a long race, and then go on from there. Well, the pace car is going to peel off, and we're about to go to Green Flag Racing. Johnny Thomas has that inside line over Ryan Gavel. He has that preferred line on the inside, and he's going to hit that gas pedal, and we're underway for 250 laps at Martinsville Speedway.
You can see the car squirreling out as they get onto the gas, and I think we're going to see that exiting turn one here. See if we can get through one lap clean throughout the field. Looking good so far.
Yeah, so far so good, and it's actually Brandon Key who's looking side by side with the 50 car. Now it's Scott Crump, his teammate, on that outside, just looking to get everybody filed back in line here, just kind of settle into a nice rhythm to start this event. On Monday, we talked about it before the show, David. Monday we were at Rockingham. The Rock had a 100-lap race there and had a great, nice, long green flag run to start off that race, hoping for a similar thing here tonight at Martinsville.
For sure, and want to note that Dustin Dewar's sponsor, gotta go grab it once more, but Dustin Dewar's sponsor has thrown up a $100 payout to the top 5 finishers if he can get a race with we can get 5 cautions or less in this race. Grab the sponsor name real quick.
Damian Leininger and Scott Crump make contact there off of turn 4. They both keep it pointed in the right direction, but already contact between drivers here fighting for the 11th and 13th positions.
Yep. Looks like they were able to keep it going, though, and Dustin is right amongst this group. It is going to be, I want to say fast lanes, but I want to double check on that.
It is a bowling alley. I do remember Memory Lanes. I do.
Memory Lanes
yes.
is the sponsor, throwing down $100 into the prize pool, and that's great. We also have the lowest incident getter for the race, gets a Jeff Gordon 124 scale diecast. So definitely some prizes and some incentive to drive it clean today. Ethan Burrell, David Tooker following Tyler Fode's tire tracks, as Thomas, Gavel, and Rexing have checked out from this group.
Yeah, they really have. You can see Johnny Thomas, Ryan Gavel, and Jared Rexing are all pretty close together, but a second, 1.2 seconds already between them and Tyler Fode, who seems to be struggling right now at the start of this event. Potentially just taking it easy, but he's certainly got an angry pack of Toyotas behind him with the addition of Josh Adams as well in the 7th position.
Yep, Vincent Isabella there sitting in 8th. Good-looking scheme from the ID Racing Camp, and R.C. Anderson. Oh, sideways there. R.C., I was just going to mention him then. And he immediately drops it sideways. He's been really fast this year in all the races that he's been to. He just hasn't been to all the races, and it's cost him when it comes to the points. But he won at Auto Club, and he's going to be one of those guys to watch out for, I think, once the tires go in. RC's just always fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I've spoken to RC as well, and the championship isn't the number one thing on his mind. He's really looking at just the opportunity to win races, individual races here. Which is why you might not see him as, concerned about making all of the races this season and running like that and making the championship, though he's still obviously a serious threat to point his way into the championship if he's able to do well in the races that he does show up in. So keep an eye out for that 50 car, because if he does make the chase, a lot of drivers have a lot to be afraid of.
Right, and he's good everywhere. And I'm trying to watch. He seems to be the only driver entering about a half lane up when we go into the corner. Everyone else dropping it directly onto the curb line and then rotating through the center and heading off. So see if anyone else kind of thinks about moving up their line, entering and exiting, try to maybe get a better run off the corner. But right now it's just single file. You can see no one can really pass. No one can really get a run on the car in front of them. They're just kind of taking care of each other right now, and that's good to see.
Yeah, you can see this group right here. It looks like Tyler Fode's your overall leader, but that's just because they've really fallen back behind that front pack. Already 2.6 seconds behind the leaders. You can't even see them in the shot when we focus there. You see Jared Rexing just going through turn 3 as Tyler Fode goes through now. A huge, huge gap and a lot of pace for these guys up front as Jeff Green has that 38 car, C2 Freight 38 car on pit road.
Tough break for Jeff Green. He's just not had any luck this season in terms of being able to put together consistent finishes. I want to mention Jared Rexing, and he's right here with Ryan Gavel. Rexing is 4th in points, and he has been one of our most consistent drivers, and he was the fastest car at Bristol. A 10 car is one that I'm watching out for to maybe win a race here. He has had essentially the opposite of the season he had last year when he had to win at Gateway in order to even get into the playoffs. Rexing has been completely the opposite. He's been very, very good, led laps, and looked like a car that can win each race this season. So my eyes on Jared Rexing as we move forward in the regular season.
Yeah, Jared Rexing has been immensely impressive. Again, his only 2 finishes outside of the top 10, taking place at Daytona and Milwaukee. Milwaukee, of course, being involved in an incident, and Daytona still coming home P16 with Daytona being Daytona.
Yeah, Rexing's been good, and then he and Gavel and Johnny Thomas and Gerald have all really put together some strong runs to start the year. Looks like Vincent Isabella has bounced it off the inside guardrail,
and it's brought out the first caution of the night. We'll head to the iRace online replay and take a look at exactly what happened there.
Doesn't look like there's much damage on the 42 car. Wonder if he maybe just got it loose exiting. I think that's certainly going to be a possibility throughout the night.
And looks like you nailed that right on the head there. You'll see Vincent Isabella off of turn 4, just gets it loose and has to end up getting the car just stopped there on track. That's enough for the iRacing officials to call out that yellow flag. And that puts us under the first caution of the night. Now 17 laps into this run. What are tires looking like? What's the fuel situation here? What are these drivers thinking in terms of whether or not to come down pit road?
I would not want to be in the situation there of whether or not you need tires. The only driver who's 100% coming to pit road this time is Vincent Isabella, probably.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's going to come grab tires. But other than that, don't know that you want to lose any track position right now. It just seems so hard to pass. Looks like the Pro Edge Toyotas of Tooker and Burrell got around Tyler Fode there. So move them up to 4th and 5th, respectively. Burrell, one of those front 6 that's been so consistent thus far this season. And he's one I'm just waiting, man. When is he going to get that win? He just seems like he's been in a drought for over a year now, and that would be true. He won a race in the Elite Xfinity Series last year, or this season, but has not won a Cup race in so long.
It feels like it's been forever for that 37 car of Ethan Burrell, and he's always there contending for the wins at the end. We're always talking to him at the end of these races, getting a top 3 result, but hasn't quite been able to seal the deal, grab that win. We're looking forward to seeing that happen, that 37 car, seeing him visit victory lane once again. Former champion here in the Elite Racing Leagues, certainly capable of getting the job done. We've seen him have very successful seasons in the Cup Series in the past as well.
Right, and I think he's absolutely one of those guys that's a threat for the championship. We look at these front 4 or 5 cars in here, and David Tooker is going to be a threat for the championship once we get down to it. 19 cars sitting in 4th spot right now on track, but 13th in points, by no means out of it in terms of the playoff picture. And I think Tooker is one of those guys you have to watch out for. He is our defending Xfinity champion after all.
Absolutely, yeah. I did just want to give a little update on Ethan Burrell there. The last time that 37 car visited victory lane here in the Elite Cup Series was June 24th, 2020, almost a year ago here at Talladega. in the 2028
Wow.
season. So it's been a while for him. Definitely wants to try and change that as quickly as possible, and he's had such a great season so far, and he's been in position to do so on a number of occasions. It's just around the corner, I feel, for that 37 car.
Right. I think he's right around the bend, but we feels like we've been saying that for a long time now, and he just hasn't pulled one out yet. Maybe it's just the luck. I think he would have won Bristol had the wheel not disconnected last week. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't forget about that great run he had at Bristol. Yeah, again, another one of those guys who's just strong at all these different racetracks. We're always seeing that 37 car running up front. To me, I look more towards a track like Charlotte Motor Speedway and potentially even Darlington as more of a track that might suit Ethan Burrell. We definitely talk a lot. When you talk Pro Edge Racing, you talk about those 1.5 milers, but definitely a lot of strength here on the short track at Martinsville. And we're about to go back to Green Flag Racing. Johnny Thomas once again with that pole position, that inside line, that ideal line. He's going to go green nice and early and potentially leave Ryan Gavel out to dry. He should be all right as Gavel comes down in front of Jared Rexing, slides up into the second position.
Definitely no teamwork there between Rexing and Gavel. Gavel went ahead and put it down on the bottom of the racetrack. And here's some teammates as Burrell looks like he lets Tooker in there.
Yep, Tyler Fody trying to work that outside or trying to find a spot in this line here, seeing if he can get by the 37 car of Ethan Burrell, and he's working that outside. He's doing a good job at hanging on there, but eventually as this run goes on, that line is going to fall away, I would assume.
We've seen this a number of times. If you watch any Martinsville in the real life or anything else, you'll know someone can hang on the outside on the restart with the tires cold. Once those tires heat up, and you saw Tyler Fody a little bit loose right there exiting, you just can't hang on that outside lane. The drive off just isn't there. You have to keep it out of the gas for too long. And here's Ethan Burrell clear. Now Josh Adams clear as well in the 95 car. And Adams, 5th in points, someone we really haven't even talked about this season as a championship threat. But, man, he looks good.
Yeah, Adams, I mean, that car looks good as well. That pretty dynamic-looking paint scheme right there. But, yeah, I mean, a part-time runner last season, we kind of mentioned him, and he'd come up at a couple of races over the course of the season, and he'd always be a factor when he would show up. But then he starts running full-time in Cup, and you start realizing, oh, man, this 95, like, he's not just, impressive in one-offs or something like that, and he's able to grab your attention. He's putting together a full championship run season here. This 95 is a very serious threat to make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, and he might be a very serious threat to win the paint scheme of the race as well. I've got to look through a couple more. I know one I've had my eye on for a couple of races now. Running 12th, Hank Steinmiller, running a Dale Jr. style throwback scheme, and I really quite love this one. And he's trying to model it after Gavel running the Steve Park throwback scheme. So at some point, kind of want to give it to Hank with a really good looking car there, but. Our in-race reporter Damian Leininger there in the 12 car.
I love that satin
blue. The Bristol
Ooh.
winner.
Yeah.
Damian brought the truck series paint scheme he runs for Osca on Thursday nights up to the Cup Series, and he's trying to change his luck around. That's what he told me before the race, and it's looking good and working well so far. Up 12th, just a little bit of contact with Crump earlier in the race, but those guys running right there on the cusp of the top 10.
Yeah, Damian Leininger and luck are two words that have not been uttered in the same sentence really in the past 2 seasons here in the Elite Racing Leagues. He's always had such strong pace, such strong early runs, always caught up in someone else's mess or sometimes occasionally his own mess as well. But man, oh man, this 12 car just looking for some kind of change here. Just one top 10 this season, despite having pace to start inside the top 5 on 2 other separate occasions.
Yep, and one couple of guys I'm watching out the corner of my eye here, and they're on your screen, Chad Frankenfield and Matthew Weeks. Both of them started in the mid-20s. Both of them have run up to 14th and 15th, respectively. Weeks locked into the playoffs, and though he has not been his kind of normal, consistent self, he's felt a lot less pressure after winning at Daytona, and has therefore relaxed. And I think it's translated for him, not necessarily in this series, but into the other series where he looks really dominant just about every week out. Week seems like he's a top 5 car in everything he's running, kind of except for this series. So for Weeks to kind of have that translate all the way back up to where he won at Daytona, that just brought that momentum his way, and he's just ridden it.
Yeah, for sure. Outside of the Daytona 500, hasn't been an amazing season for Matthew Weeks, for sure. Not the one that we talked about, and obviously you lauded to have him to have a Final Four run last season, and he certainly had a car and was driving worthy of that. What I have noticed, though, is I think his peak hasn't quite been as high as what we saw last season, he's been more consistent across the board in general. He's had pretty solid pace at all the tracks. He used to talk about short tracks really being a big Achilles heel for that 11 car. He's hanging with Chad Frankenfield, who runs pretty solid here at Martinsville. He's running with a lot of these guys here up in this mid pack. Oh, well, we do have a caution. I was
going to say we do have a caution, but I was going to say I think Chad's least favorite. Ooh, man, big crash, including Vincent Isabella once again. Just a miserable night for the 42 already. I was going to say Chad Frankenfield's least favorite track, I think, professed to drive is Martinsville.
It's funny he says that because I know he's been victorious here once or twice before, but yes.
Right.
All right.
He has, but he is not. Oh man, Jordan Owens in late. We'll see if.
Seems to be okay after that point. It's
man.
Looks like he comes up a little bit there on Scott Haney. You can't put that on Haney since he didn't really have anywhere to go, and you've got Harrison Talon involved in that.
He was just clobbering into Vincent there. Rabilis and maybe Brent Jones just nowhere to go. Harrison Talon nowhere to go. Michael Goodman tears the front nose off the 44 car. That would have been a contender for pain of the race, but
yeah. Seems like everybody else around here made it through all right. I think the car you saw that kind of went in there a little bit fast was Michael Goodman, and that is another thing that we mentioned last week with Corey Abbott when he hit Ryan Gavel at Las Vegas, and that is this new smoke model, and you cannot see anything when you've got cars around, and you think about Martinsville and how narrow it is. It certainly makes life very difficult when you've got a crash going on, so we should actually be able to see if we can grab, I do believe we have a helmet cam available for the 44 car. We can kind of see what he saw and just how that incident occurred and how he lost that front end of that 44 car.
I think that would probably be good. I think we also probably need a chase view of the 3 and the 42 coming together off the corner. See if maybe there was any net code between them. But smoke up, blinded. Oh, yeah. Yep. Nowhere to go.
Can't see much there. You're kind of relying entirely on what guys around you are telling you, and there's unfortunately not much left there for Goody to have done.
I am just absolutely flabbergasted that they put that in. I know I've mentioned it a number of times on the broadcast, but it's not good for racing to not be able to see. And in real life, you obviously have to deal with it. That's something that's completely unavoidable. In a video game, though, it's not unavoidable. It's something you can have.
Yeah, I mean, all of these guys don't have the same kind of spotters that you have with that overhead view in real life, where you're able to do a lot of that. Yeah, I question it. One thing I do want to point out, though, on your screens here, Johnny Thomas brought that car down pit road. Ryan Gavel, Scott Crump staying out. Damian Leininger as well staying out here. So we do have a mix of strategy. David Tooker, Ethan Burrell, Josh Adams, Tyler Fody all making that call to come down pit road for fresh tires. It's been 38 laps on these on this set of tires. Ryan Gavel, Scott Crump, Damian Leininger, Hank Steinmiller, Frankenfield, Weeks, DeMantova, Campbell, Owens, and Clark all think that's your top 11 there. All seem to think that staying out here is going to be the call. We'll see how that pans out. I might honestly be inclined to agree with them. If it was just Ryan Gavel and Scott Crump who stayed out, I'd say they're in trouble. But with 11 cars in front of the next car with fresh tires, it's hard to pass on this racetrack, and that could work out pretty well for these guys up front.
Yeah, no, it's going to be, I think, difficult to pass as we've seen, and I think track position is the most important thing. Johnny Thomas making the early bet, and this is something you can do early in the race, but Johnny's not going to want to note how long it takes him to climb up through the field, and if it takes him more than 5-6 laps, I think he needs to reevaluate whether or not he needs to just stay out as long as he can whenever he gets the opportunity to have the lead.
Well, we're back to green flag racing, and Ryan Gavel goes extremely early here. He leaves the rest of the field.
That caused a wreck there. R.C. Anderson is around. Caution right back out.
We'll head to the iRace Online replay. Didn't even make it down the front straightaway there, and I think certainly caught some drivers off guard and ended up in a bit of a strange situation. Looks like it might have actually been a self-spin for RC. Let's take a look, and it is. Just got it loose off the corner. Again, they went super early. Put a little bit too much power down too fast, and an uncharacteristic mistake from the driving the number 50 car there.
Yep, for sure. And I think we understand there what happened. RC definitely broke it loose, wheel spin. She punched the gas too hard, exiting the corner. You can't do that when you're at speed, much less right there on the restart when you're stopped. So if we can get live here, maybe we can interview our in-race reporter, Damian Leininger.
All right, yeah, absolutely. Let's see if we can ring him up.
Hey, Damian, it's the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Hey, so you're the in-race reporter tonight. Don't know if you knew that, but we're bringing you in, and you're running second, so it's a perfect time, man. How's the car feel, and how's the call for old tires staying out?
Call for tires is going to be fine. I mean, one of our teammates pit right there, and I think our worst tire was like 97. So it doesn't look like tires are too bad right now. So call's just going to be track position. And I didn't remember I was the in-race reporter, but now that you say it, I do. The car, I mean, it's a handful. I mean, it's really tight. I mean, it's loose getting in and then tight in the middle. And you just really have to watch your throttle on exit because it's it'll snap around on you really quick. So.
Well, Damien, what's going to be the key here to just surviving the next 250 laps? Obviously, surviving these races has certainly been a tricky one for you this past season and a half, really, just with very little luck. But right now, a good running position, and how do you just keep that car running on the track, pointed in the right direction by the time we get to lap 250?
I think it's all about patience and keeping track position, really. These short tracks, they take so much patience, and these guys, I mean, we've had a lot of struggle with that before. So hopefully just, I mean, we've shown bright signs so far through this race, but I think you just have to stay up front somehow. I mean, you get back there in the hornet's nest, and you're just bound to get wrecked of some sort. I mean, I already got hit right front damage anyways from a car getting loose before. So
All right, Damian, we'll send you back to the Link Norman chat, but good luck today. We're definitely rooting for you. Hopefully you can get a good finish and get some of that bad luck out of the way.
all right, thanks, guys.
That was Damian Leininger, driving number 12 car. He's running second right now, and this has afforded us a nice opportunity to get him in, and looks like his teammate Ryan Gable going to work with him a little bit, let him have that inside lane so that Gable can go to the outside and have that spot entering one while Damian keeps the inside.
Yeah, so again, nice little bit of teamwork right there, getting these guys in order. So you'll have two Lake Norman cars in line on that bottom lane, and potentially we'll leave Chad Frankenfield then outside and kind of stuck to fall back if he can't slot in between the 12 car and the number 90. So this could be an interesting restart here. Again, it'll be controlled by the outside line. Ryan Gavel once again goes extremely early. Guys behind are going to have to be careful, and here you go. The two Lake Norman cars line up, and the rest of the field is too wide. Scott Crump and Chad Frankenfield bang doors right there, it seems, as Crump tries to stay ahead of the 15 car, and they're 3 wide off of 2 there for the 10th position.
Was that Ethan Burrell taking him 3 wide on the outside of Johnny Thomas? I think it was. Ethan would then be the top car on fresh tires. That's the battle for top car on fresh tires between Ethan and Johnny. And there's a bunch of contact there between Tucker, Ethan, and Weeks and Steinmiller ran up on the back of Crump and Frankenfield. They're really stacked up here. Would be surprised if they don't spin him out here soon.
Yeah, super stacked up here, the order. You still see Chad Frankenfield trying to get past Scott Crump, but finally Scott Crump gets fully clear of that 15 car. He can kind of set sail. We kind of got that line forming once again back here, but this time Scrump is kind of that pick in position. But Chad Frankenfield, not quite done. We're going to see if he can get to the inside of that 90 car. Like you were saying, if you can just stick your nose in there to the inside quarter panel of the car in front, they can't do much, really. They can't force you off the racetrack. So, this could be very interesting, and that's really got to be the move to make passes. You see there, Gerald Campbell, very loose off the corner.
There goes Johnny Thomas down to the inside of Campbell. Battle for, I believe, the 8th position, and that is the top car on fresh tires, Johnny Thomas. So we have to watch the advances of the 09, whether or not he can make his way up, and if he does that well and does it fairly quickly before the tires kind of even out, I think that would be information to the rest of the field. But right now it looks like Thomas, Burrell, Tucker, they can't go anywhere with that fresh rubber.
They can't.
Ooh, Campbell off the wall. He'll save it. Good job, Gerald Campbell.
Yeah, he'll keep it. He's running that high line. He's on those older tires. Gerald Campbell right now just needs to get back and find a spot back in line, really, and kind of stop that backwards momentum, because that's going to hurt him significantly if he does not get back in line with the rest of these cars here. Right now, you see him, the only car really kind of out of line as Johnny Thomas looks to try and get to the bottom of Shane DiMantova. Doesn't quite get there this time around, but those fresher tires are helping him into the corner, and even off the corner, you saw there a huge advantage, and that 09 car is now there.
Good run by Shane DiMantova so far. He's been really having a decent season. I wish that Shane would have had a little bit better results overall. I think he's one of those guys that could, if the all breaks right, he could absolutely win one of these races. But it just seems like it hasn't broken right for him this year. And he's been running Road to Pro and stuff. So I'm really thinking Shane DiMantova's progress is eventually going to show up in results on the track.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been, like you said, there's been positive momentum for sure, and really good performances that we've seen from Shane DiMantova. It's been coming together for him. We're waiting to see some good results here, start transferring over into this JoinAPS Cup Series. Right now, though, lost the position to Ethan Burrell. Again, Ethan on those fresh tires as David Tooker, I believe it was, just went up the track there, lost the position to Josh Adams.
Tyler Fode making the outside work there in the 40 car. Wonder if he won't be the last to attempt that on these guys with old tires. Though I think if you run the outside lane with that kind of momentum, you're going to, I think, run out your tires a little bit quicker. Fode may be anticipating a caution coming up, trying to go ahead and get all he can before that happens.
Yeah, folks, we're 3 cautions into this race. Remember that. So the winner's prize money there for $100 unfortunately goes away in just 2 cautions time. And I believe, did I just see a caution flash up on the screen? I did. We are back under caution. I just, man.
As soon as you started talking about it, there it goes.
Yeah, as soon as I mentioned it there, I believe that might have been the, I'm going to take a look and see if it might be the 38 car there of Jeff Green. I saw him slow on the tracker. We'll head back to the iRace Online replay and take a look and see what we might have missed with this latest wreck.
For now, we will go ahead and read for the sponsor. Richmar Florist is serving the Lehigh Valley between and beyond since 1955. Richmar Florist has grown into one of the most recognizable floral names in the racing world. They offer delivery around the corner or around the world with a simple and easy-to-use website at www.richmarflorist.com. They offer selection for any of life's special occasions.
Big thanks to Richmar Florist. Here's your iRace Online replay, and it's your leader getting into the back of a lapped car there. Just, a straight shot from behind.
I think that's Jared Rexing. Not Ryan Gavel.
Excuse me, that was Jared Rexing. I was back under the impression that 10 car was leading and not the 1. I thought they had swapped. But yeah, Jared Rexing there behind the 04 of Caleb Thompson. Kind of knocks him out of the way, and that's what brought out our caution here. We'll see what the call is there. That's an interesting situation where, again, you start to see some more of these incidents when you've got guys with significantly different amounts of grip on their tires. Jared Rexing does bring that 10 car back down pit road.
Might have gotten the penalty then and decided that it wasn't worth it anymore. Chad Frankenfield has come down pit road from 4th spot. And I believe Shane DiMantova also pitted, as well as Jordan Owens, Gerald Campbell, Matthew Weeks out of the top 10. And the guys who had stayed out previously have now come down pit road, though Gavel, Damian Leininger, Hank Steinmiller, Scott Crump have stayed out now, and those are your top 4. They were not particularly under too much attack from Johnny Thomas. It didn't, it's been 20 laps and Johnny Thomas wasn't able to clear up and get through those guys. I think it's definitely going to be more dangerous for him now. The only 4 cars total with old tires.
Yeah, just those 4 cars left on the racetrack, and as that kind of group that stayed out starts thinning out more and more, obviously their advantage becomes less and less. But right now, I mean, you've got the 1 and the 12 car working together. We know the 63 car as well is part of that Lake Norman Motorsports camp, and Scott Crump as well could potentially be working with these guys. So these Chevys all get in a line and they work together here. They can very easily get a great restart and just kind of walk away from Johnny Thomas in the 5th position.
Well, I don't know that these guys want to work with Scott Crump particularly much. They don't get along terribly well. I know that for a fact. But the rest of them, yes. I think there's a bit of bad blood there from previous league races amongst each other, especially between Damian and Crump.
All right. Well, I was personally not aware of that. So yeah, there you go. You do still have 3 Lake Norman Motorsports cars within that top 4 group there. So so certainly expect to see those guys working together. Watch the 09 car and the 37 here. Really, when we head back to Green Flag Racing. The 37 car, Ethan Burrell, making some nice aggressive moves on the outside there. We saw that on that last restart, and we know Johnny Thomas has pace in that 09 car, your pole sitter here tonight. So so certainly going to watch their progress. We're back to Green Flag Racing again with that early restart by Ryan Gavel. And, ooh, Hank Steinmiller with a big move around the outside, and Damian Leininger
no. That's going to be the caution.
is around in turn 1. There's no caution flag being waved, I don't believe. I think it is.
It is waving. These guys are all slow through turn 1.
Correct.
So. Can't. What happened there? I wonder if I wonder if Damian overdrove it with the old tires and got loose entering.
I'm curious. Yeah, we'll head to the iRace Online replay. We saw Hank Steinmiller as the camera was just adjusting there. Hank Steinmiller went for that great outside move there. I'm not sure what exactly happened, if that pinched Damian Leininger and caused him to spin. So here's the move that Hank had, and he really.
Oh, look at that.
Scott Crump.
I see.
You just mentioned Scott Crump and Damian Leininger not necessarily being the best of friends. And once again, we see the 12 car and the 90 come together then on the racetrack. And Damian Leininger has to watch that painful long line of cars drive past before he's able to get it started and back moving to the tail end of the line.
I am immediately sorry for bringing it up. Oh, man. Seems like the announcer's curse never ends. I'm sure when we get Damian in here again, he will surely be angry with me. We already talked about him. We were trying to get him to have a good run. We were hoping it would be there, and no, looks like it's all for naught.
We'll give Damian a little bit of some time to cool down after that. We'll talk to him probably on the next caution or one or more after that. With that, of course, we'll also be more than happy, as we're under caution right now, to mention our race sponsor for tonight, SMRI. It's the SMRI Productions 250. SMRI Productions, they're an independent record label and media company that exists at the intersection of creation, media, and technology. They focus on delivering comprehensive digital content with organic media for all of your digital needs. They also provide multiple avenues of content consumption, making sure that you're always in control. And as a content provider, SMRI Productions offers a unique, ever-growing catalog to fit your needs for any bespoke media desire. Massive thanks to SMRI Productions, a title sponsor for Elite Racing League Series in the Grand National Series, a massive sponsor for events here in the Cup Series. Big shout out to SMRI Productions. They've been a huge sponsor to come on board with the Elite Racing Network in the past year.
Yep, definitely really excited for SMRI. They sponsor a number of cars in the league as well as a number of drivers. And if you're watching as a fan, you want to put your name on the car. It costs just a few bucks to run these cars. I mean, you don't even have to pay for the entire season for these guys. But if you want to get your name on the car, get in contact with any of them. Just tweet us at Elite Racing, and I'm sure we'll make sure that those guys see that you want to be on their car if you've got a favorite driver or something that you want to sponsor.
Absolutely. A lot of talent throughout this field, a lot of drivers deserving of that sponsorship, of that recognition, and we absolutely try and get as much airtime for as many drivers in the field as possible. Looks like we're heading to 1 lap to green here. The lights are off on the pace car. We're 2x2 here. It's going to be Gavel and Steinmiller this time on the front row, and Johnny Thomas closer than ever. I would be nervous of that 09 car if I'm the 1 and the 63.
Well, hopefully for those guys, Johnny can swing on by without keeping them trapped in that outside lane. That's what I'd be worried about, is getting hoisted up to the top. For now, though, Thomas with those fresher tires on the outside of Hank Steinmiller, we'll see if he can drive it back down to the bottom and get in front of Scott Crump here. If he can do that, and he does, Johnny cuts off Crump and entering turn 3. Steinmiller in second. The 63 car has been looking good so far today. Gavel able to hold the lead. Adams around the outside of Scott Crump.
Yeah, Adams with the move on those fresh tires. Ethan Burrell now looking to the outside of Scott Crump.
Robin got booted out of the groove. He's going to go back several positions. That's our Bristol winner, Josh Robin.
Yeah, Josh Robin now dropping positions here.
There goes Colin Fern. Same issue.
So here you go. Ooh, and they just need to all settle in there just a little bit, getting back into it. Colin Fern trying to hang on the outside. Same thing with Josh Robin right now. You can see that they're just struggling to keep the grip there higher up the racetrack. There just isn't as much rubber laid down. There just isn't as much opportunity for you to stay in line. And there you see Brandon Key giving his teammate Colin Fern a break there, and he might actually be willing to give the 8 car of Josh Robin a break here. You can see that 8 car super loose on entry when he's using that higher lane versus these guys on the bottom.
At risk of ruining Brandon Key's race, very impressed that he's able to just step it in and gosh, he gets into Josh Robin right as I say something. I gotta start keeping my mouth shut here. Tyler Dixon's running good there. Hopefully he doesn't bin it as soon as I mention that he's running well.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, another great paint scheme there from that 54 car. Tyler Dixon right now running up inside the top 15 in 15th position. A little bit of damage on that, but with some short track racing at Martinsville without a little bit of bumper, bumpers flared in and out here and there.
Yeah, exactly. It's all fun and games until you spin somebody out. I think little side door-to-door contact at Martinsville can't be considered anything malicious. But once you get that up into, I think we're gonna have a battle for the lead here soon. Once you get into the spinning of another car, that's where I would personally draw the line.
Yeah, something's happened here to the 63 car of Hank Steinmiller. He's dropped down to the 5th position. Lost that second spot that he had with Ryan Gable, his teammate in the lead. So right now defending from Tyler Fody with fresh tires. Curious as to what happened with the 63 car and what's put him back here is Colin Fern looking for a move on Andrew Rucker.
Yep. Yeah, there goes Fern underneath Rucker, and I think Hank Steinmiller, what's happened to him is 75 lap old tires. Ryan Gavel's still able to hold the inside line with the fresh air, or the clean air rather, and the old tires. It doesn't seem to matter too much, and Gavel may have also been trying to put take care of his tires. He was up in the top 2 or 3 the entire time so far. Hopefully that allows him to maintain that gap. But Johnny Thomas, I think, eking into it a little bit. He's a little bit under pressure, though, from Adams and Burrell. And that whole group has gotten around the Hank Steinmiller machine. And this battle just raging on between Fern, Key, Rucker, and Chad Frankenfield. Chuck Sweeting into this group as well. And Rucker tries to slam the door on Key. He'll do it successfully, though maybe not the cleanest of moves there. And Key might be... We'll see.
Yeah, Key under attack right now on both ends there by those 2 Richmar Florist Esports cars. Those Ford Mustangs really trying to work on Brandon Key. You see Rucker with the defensive move and Chad Frankfield trying to see if he can get that nose anywhere past that 25 car to try and move up into the 11th position. Impressive run again right now by Brandon Key, but they're going to go 3 wide into the corner. Chad Frankenfield smart to back out of that move there as Brandon Key slides on past the 64 of Andrew Rucker.
Wanted to mention Chuck Sweeting before he falls back here. Started way in the back, didn't set a qualifying time, but has moved forward fairly consistently. Falling back now due to the older tires, but we are under caution once again here at Martinsville. I think that is number 5, if I am correct. So I think we'll only have one more before we would have to go caution-free from here on out if we wanted to pay out the Memory Lanes Bowling $100 into the race pool. Though the driver with the fewest number of incidents will still win a Jeff Gordon diecast car. So incentive's still there.
Ooh.
And yep, Caleb Thompson. Oh, I think there might have been an incident in front of those guys.
That's a good point, actually. You might have caught that on just right there. Let's take a look and see.
Looked like Brent Jones slowed up for an incident in front of him. Caleb Thompson buried up under his back bumper, trying to follow him as closely as he could, and got into him because he didn't anticipate Brent checking up out of the corner.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it looks like here, and a great catch there because it is the 20 car got it off of the corner, spun it off there. So we'll take a look here and see. Shane DeMantova spins it, just gets a little bit of help there from Jordan Owens, who really didn't have much place to go, and you saw there Brent Jones checking up, gets hit in the back by Caleb Thompson. That's the car we saw stationary on the racetrack. But it all started here with the 20 car of Shane DeMantova getting loose off the final corner.
Hey, that Zach Evans car, which is, I believe, the Richard Hines mobile. Zach Evans running a very good-looking little blue and black car, and he's the Speed 51 driver, I believe, reporter for them, and he's been running with us for several years now. Always a pleasure to run around Zach Evans. He's always clean and always driven me clean on the racetrack, so I appreciate when he's running. And definitely like that scheme while we bring up the KNP player of this, or scheme of the race rather.
Yeah, absolutely. Another great looking car. I'm a sucker for those light blue schemes. The old Miami blue that Tyler Fode typically runs. That he's also such a fan of. Love those types of that type of color. Yeah, I mean the blue cars always look great here. You see Zach Evans just slowing down. I think letting some other cars by here. Running a little bit further back. Just right now getting a handle for these Cup Series car. I believe this is his first appearance here. Richard Hines, the normal driver of the 87 car, unable to make it here tonight.
Yep, and we're going to be seeing a little bit more of the substitute drivers, I think, the rest of the way. That's been opened up and allowed now, so the potential for seeing someone else in the colors of a car that you know is back. Looks like Ryan Gavel and Hank Steinmiller have gone ahead and headed to pit road. That'll put Johnny Thomas back into the lead once again.
Yeah, Gavel and Steinmiller now all the way back in 20th and 21st position, though with 47 lap fresher tires than everybody or than many of the drivers up front here. So it's interesting. I mean, this could play this could play into their favor later in the race, but right now certainly a little bit at a disadvantage compared to a lot of these other drivers. But definitely two different strategies playing out right now.
Yep, and that's what makes short track racing really fun. You know, you have guys on with about 20 lap fresher tires in the top 10, and Chad Frankenfield, Gerald Campbell. Those are going to be the ones on the charge. Everyone else going to be defending with a little bit older tires now. No one out there with like 70 to 80 lap older tires. Ryan Gavel and Hank Steinmiller were the only ones left.
Yes, sir. Well, they're 2x2. That means we're ready to get back to green flag racing, and as Johnny Thomas back pacing the field, he's going to hit that loud pedal and go nice and early, give himself a gap over Ethan Burrell, though Ethan does a great job to slide into place ahead of Josh Adams, and Tyler Fode is going to try and go for an outside move to see what he can do on this restart.
Seen Tyler Fode, Colin Fern moving forward. David Tooker, Ethan Burrell started up front, and Josh Adams as well. So kind of the group that started up front, with the exception of Ryan Gavel, now back up here and trying to fight for the lead. Rucker dives it in deep on Fern. He'll get there and make the pass. Fern probably not too happy with that move. Bounced it off of Rucker in the corner.
And we've seen those two come together at short tracks before, and we've seen them both be very aggressive at short tracks before. And Fern certainly not done with that 64 car. Tries for the outside move, and he's still there on the 64 of Andrew Rucker.
Not too thrilled is Colin Fern, I don't think. And now they're going to rub again. Rucker on the apron. They're stacking up the field behind him, and that might have caused that caution indirectly. Might have been our points leader, Ryan Gavel.
Potentially, yeah. That's kind of a strange one that I'm seeing here. Let's head back into the iRace Online replay. I didn't really see any cars stop.
Oh, it might have been Hank Steinmiller. Steinmiller's now down to 29th.
Great catch there. Yep, Hank Steinmiller. It was in fact Hank Steinmiller there. Looks like he got caught up in an incident off the corner, off of turn 2, I believe that was. Let's take a look here. Hank Steinmiller off of the corner.
No, bounces it off a Rusty Capel, and a great run going for Hank Steinmiller, and it's all for naught. Just turns into Josh Personette. Great job by stopping by Josh Personette. Avoid damage on the 18 car. It's another one that I would put forth in the KNP graphics player scheme of the race, rather.
Absolutely, yeah. We're gonna have to start. We're getting into a tricky part of the season where, oh man, I just noticed the rainbow color on the number. Ooh, that scheme has kind of jumped up pretty. Okay. I got to look away from this scheme because right now I'm certainly favoring this 18 car of Joshua Personette. Not a driver we get to talk about too much, unfortunately, but certainly a beautiful paint scheme on that 18 car.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a good chunk of drivers in this field with a fantastic paint job, and we can't award it to all of them. We got to find one at some point. One of the prior winners of it is in the lead right now in this Manscaped number 09 of Johnny Thomas, and this has been a mighty impressive run from Johnny Thomas. I'm not sure where this speed at Martinsville came from, or if Johnny's maybe always been this good at Martinsville.
Well, that's something that we could certainly go back into the statistics from this Cup Series with and kind of take a look at Johnny Thomas and his performance, especially at these shorter, flatter racetracks.
Why don't I read off for C2 Freight while you do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so C2 Freight offers complete freight management services. They are ready to meet your needs today as well as your changing needs in the future. With thousands of qualified carriers in their database, they are capable of handling shipping for every type of goods, from perishable foods to office equipment. Whatever you need to ship, they have the access to the necessary equipment, including flatbeds, double drops, vans, tankers, refrigerated equipment, multi-axle heavy haulers, dump trucks, auto carriers, and intermodal containers. C2 Freight also offers electronic data interchange services, which allows shippers to keep close electronic tabs on their shipments through the freight movement process. Please contact C2 Freight for more details. And C2 Freight has been a sponsor for us for, well, I think, over a year now. And they also sponsor Jeff Green's car. And let me just tell you, we are super grateful for everything they do for us. That they are, one of the reasons we're able to put on a broadcast today is because of what C2 Freight and Jeff Green have done. And we have to thank them every time because they are awesome and fantastic. And if you have any freight needs, you should definitely contact C2 Freight.
Yeah, an exceptional group there at C2 Freight Resources. I've been digging through some of the stuff with Johnny Thomas and some of his history here in the Elite Racing Leagues, and there hasn't been too much consistency in terms of particular tracks where we really see him standing out versus others. I'm just kind of digging through here a little bit. We are getting ready to go back to green, so I might have to come back to this. But really, it's just been a mix. He's been good at all different types of racetracks at various points over the course of his time in the Elite Racing League. So, again, impressive to see this 09 car up front, but that's really where he's been all season. He's been impressive for sure. This car has been a big step forward, I think, for Johnny Thomas from last season, kind of being just there in the chase. Making it into the chase, of course, but not necessarily being a full championship contender. To now this time, we do have a caution. To this time being what I would believe is a proper championship contender, and I think we have the 75 car of Chuck Sweeting potentially involved in this latest caution.
Might not be a caution. They might still be green, actually, now that I'm looking at it.
You might actually be right.
They're still green. Out on track right now. I know there was a big stack up entering turn 1.
There was a bit. We'll still show you guys the big stack up that we've got. They are still green under here, so it's
right
just
there. Sweeting and Steinmiller. Not sure what's going on there. The whole field was checked up and stacked up, but they keep them rolling, and I suppose that's just going to be that.
Yeah, a very interesting situation as they're heading to the green. I should remind, I believe so. Yeah, very strange situation as a whole, but the field continues to run here. Johnny Thomas continues to lead over Ethan Burrell and Josh Adams. Tyler Fody rounds out that top 4 you see at the top of your screen here. David Tooker, Colin Fern, and Andrew Rucker both still next to each other on the racetrack, but right now it's Josh Robin trying to see if he can get past the 64 Ford Mustang of Andrew Rucker. He's going to look to the inside this time. And
Campbell turned Weeks around and into the outside wall. I was just going to mention that we had a couple of SMRI cars right next to each other there, and Matthew Weeks gets absolutely dumped by Gerald Campbell there. Not sure what the stewards are going to do. We saw Scott Crump absolutely dump Damian Leininger earlier in the race, and they awarded that a no contest. So we'll have to see whether or not this one earns an EOL. Gerald may have gotten a little loose entering, but it looked to me like he just kind of flattened Matthew Weeks on entry there.
Well, we'll check out that iRace Online replay. We caught the back end of it on our live pictures, but we'll take a look and see what it looked like here on the racetrack. This should give us a nice little view with this camera, and it is just that 31 car. It looks like he just outbroke himself a little bit.
I think we actually need a more zoomed out view on that. I'm pretty sure the 15 sent the 31 into the 11.
All right, we could have more cars involved in this domino effect incident we've got going on here.
That's what it looked like to me, was right there.
Yeah, you are.
Chad Frankenfield sent Gerald Campbell right into Matthew Weeks.
That's a very interesting incident there, and definitely something that's probably pretty unique to Martinsville, I'd imagine.
Yeah, when you have the car behind able to send the cars in front, and Rucker went to pit road very late, giving up a top 10 running position there. Wonder if he might have gotten a penalty or something, but Andrew Rucker back to the back end of the lead lap.
Yeah, so
I see him there. There he goes. Damian Leininger just got the lucky dog and is back on the lead lap now.
Yeah, so back in the race here for this 12 car. It's still some damage there, but certainly not anything that could hold him back, and we know he's got some pretty solid pace. the problem for him is obviously he's now very much in the thick of it. Going to be tough to get away from a lot of the incidents that are happening around the 20th to 15th position here in the field.
Yeah, he's going to have to really climb his way through. And all these guys are Rucker, Clark, Damian, and Matthew Weeks, all just suddenly back into the mid-20s. Chuck Sweeting also after being involved in that wreck on the back straightaway. A bunch of guys back here that are going to have to kind of fight their way through a large chunk of traffic. And then I look through the running order right now, and how about our guy Zach Evans? We just mentioned him, and Josh Personette as well. Kind of our battle of the K&P graphics paint schemes of the race, running 15th and 16th.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a nice little kind of mix of guys right now and mix of strategy. We've got guys who've been out for about 65 laps on this set of tires, guys who just came down pit road about 25th on back. And you have a few drivers kind of in the middle there with 20-lap-old tires, some with 13 or so lap-old tires. Pretty much on every caution, we've got some drivers who've come down, and we've got a nice little mix going on throughout the field here. So no real trends going on that I can see in terms of which one's looking better. Obviously, the guys who've stayed out the longest are the ones who are up front, and it kind of goes down from there.
Yep. Ryan Gavel in 10th with the freshest tires. Behind him with fresh tires will be, I believe, Scott Crump as well. So, and R.C. Anderson. Those are the guys with fresh tires coming forward. But for now, it's going to be the guys on old tires. Johnny Thomas, Ethan Burrell, Josh Adams, Tyler Fody, and David Tooker, the top 5.
Yes, absolutely. We'll get ready to come back to green flag racing. Johnny Thomas will lead Ethan Burrell once again to the green flag here. We've just crossed the lap 100 mark, and a bit of wheel spin there for Josh Adams. That means he's going to drop a position. Might allow Tyler Fody to slot into the 3rd position. Not quite. Adams keeps his nose there on the inside, and Tyler Fody is going to have to go back up the racetrack and try and defend that position.
Big stack up there with R.C. Anderson on the back in the back of the pack. 50 car got a little bit sideways exiting. Tyler Dixon by. Here comes Zach Evans trying to jump on past the 50, and we've seen R.C. Anderson sideways more than once today. I think Martinsville is not really agreeing with the 50 car.
Yeah, RC struggling a little bit here at the short track at Martinsville, just trying to get a grips a little bit with this setup with this racetrack. I believe this might actually be the first time RC has run Martinsville here in the Elite Racing Leagues, which should certainly play a factor in that. He's right now doing a pretty solid job there. He's running that high line, but
there it goes again.
Just kind of throwing it in a little bit aggressively, trying to hope there's grip there up top. But there unfortunately isn't, RC, and yeah, we've got another caution, I believe, back out on the racetrack.
We're long past the memory lanes $100 gift to the top 5, but for now, though, we do want to mention them one last time and appreciate that their sponsorship. They should definitely come back for other races. They might have a chance to pay out that sponsor if they come to a racetrack that might not be Martinsville. This paperclip is a tough little deal.
All right. Well, I have a replay here that might make your blood boil, David. We've seen it at Martinsville or at Milwaukee, a similar incident here. The 64 diving it into the inside and causing a very big one here at Martinsville.
You know, I don't know that there was anything that Rucker could have done there. Damian went to his inside. Those guys just need to be more patient in general, and that kind of incident is completely avoidable for sure. You know, and I'm expecting crashes. It's Martinsville. I'm not going to be nearly as mad as I was at Milwaukee, because Milwaukee we should not have been crashing that much. But Martinsville, I expect it. But yeah, those guys got to be more patient. You got to finish the race. You know, like even if you're not 23rd, if you're 22nd instead of 21st on lap 125, or where are we now? We're at 107 even. At 108, if you're 22nd and not 23rd, or 23rd not 22nd, are you any worse off? I would argue that no, you're not. But you're going to be able to move forward. There's 140 laps to go. You're okay.
Yeah, still a long way to go in this race. Definitely need to just, you talked about it at the beginning of the show. Patience is going to be absolutely key for this event, and you're seeing the guys who are a bit impatient with their moves. They're the ones who are involved in these incidents. Impatient on the throttle, spinning it out off the corners, different things like that. It's just patience is the #1 word when you come to Martinsville. I'm sure tempers are flaring with it throughout the field as well with each other, be patient with each other. Be patient, patient, patient. That's going to get your car up inside the top 10, potentially fighting for a top 5, for a podium, for a win.
And, you know, I think about when Damian Leininger drives it off into the corner from 25th, trying to go 3 wide for 23rd, I wonder, but who is he going against there? And one of them was Andrew Rucker. I know Damian doesn't ever get room from Andrew Rucker. It's not like that's somebody that he trusts or respects out there. Scott Haney's on the outside. Those guys are just trying to go around him. I'm just wondering whether or not who it was what yielded that change there. As Rucker generally doesn't give much room on the track, so when you're racing against him, you just have to take the room when you've got it. That could have been the kind of part of the cause there, but in general, I don't know that going 3 wide for 25th from any of those two parties is the right move.
Well, that is our, what is that, 6th caution?
I think 7th. I think 6th was the last one.
All right, 7th caution of the night so far tonight. We're just approaching this halfway point. Thankfully, I do have to say this race has been a little bit quicker than what we might have expected when I first read Martinsville 250 after the race we had at Bristol, for sure. Still some ways to go, though, for sure, and still a lot of things can happen. But right now, similar pictures, similar drivers up front that we had way back at the beginning on lap 1. Johnny Thomas still leading the way here. Lost that lead for a little bit when he pitted, but they've cycled back up to the front. And Ethan Burrell doing whatever he can to try and get to that 09 car on these restarts. He's going to try this time on the outside lane. Can Ethan Burrell pull anything off here? Looks like he's going to struggle a little bit and potentially lose a spot here to Josh Robin, who's going to look to his inside.
Oh, look at that. Josh Robin, the Bristol winner, has joined the party. Tyler Fody back up in here as well. And Chad Frankenfield does have the freshest tires among the top 5. Ryan Gavel's tires are about 20 laps fresher than Chad's. So the rest of them have 76 laps on their tires. Chad has 54 laps on his. Gavel 30 laps on his tires. So a bunch of different strategies throughout, and a little bit you can kind of tell who's a little bit more grip, who has a little bit less grip. The less grip right now is on the outside in the 19 car.
Yeah, David Tooker right now just, in all honesty, doing a great job at holding off Chad Frankenfield here with those fresher tires in that preferred line, but eventually it's not going to work anymore, and you can see Chad Frankenfield with each corner inches a little bit further ahead of the 19 car, but the caution is out once again. This time,
Josh Robin blinked out for a while there in turn 3 as well. That was not the cause of the caution, though.
I do not believe so. Let's head back to the iRace Online replay and see what we can find as the cause of the caution. I'm not quite sure, as, again, when that caution flag came out, I did not see too many cars really slow, though I believe I might have just found it. We'll take a look here. This is coming off of turn 4. A little bit of chaos. A little bit further back in the order. This is, I believe, what was the cause. It's Josh Adams behind the checking up number 3 car of Scott Haney for that kind of checkup you had with those cars 3 wide, and there you go. That's enough to bring that caution out.
There's an instance of kind of what we saw with Brent Jones and Caleb Thompson earlier in the race. You know, Josh Adams following Scott Haney, probably looking to go to the inside in the next corner, not anticipating that there are cars sideways in front of Scott Haney, and something that he needs to get on the binders for. Not even any smoke that time, just no way to anticipate that checkup for Josh Adams.
Yeah, there's no way for Josh Adams to anticipate, and obviously nothing wrong that Scott Haney did, because he's checking up for an incident. You've got guys going 3 wide in front of him. So a situation where, again, you just kind of see that domino effect where an incident occurs 2-3 cars down the road, but it was really started by cars, 2-3 cars up the road. It's a very interesting situation that we have here at this racetrack.
It's very difficult to see out through these Cup cars. We've seen that as a part of an issue a couple of other times this year, including last Monday at Rockingham. One of our big crashes was on a stack up on a restart where drivers couldn't see when the other drivers were going. One car moved, the others moved behind him, and no one was going in front of them, and that's what caused the big wreck. And the visuals of iRacing are somewhat lacking compared to real life. You also have the overhead spotter in real life telling you when lanes are going and when there's a crash in front. Josh Adams didn't have that in his ear. Scott Haney saw it visually. Adams didn't, and a pile up.
Lap 117 of 250. The lights on the pace car, we're expecting to see those go off this time by, which means we should be coming up to 1 lap to go. It really has been an impressive run tonight by Johnny Thomas. Again, pole sitter, has led a number of laps. It's really been shared between him and Ryan Gavel up front. Gavel recovering from a later pit stop. He's been working his way up that order as well. Impressive run right now for the 01 car, or excuse me, just the 1 car, as he's been working with those fresher tires, getting back up inside the top 7. We'll see what he can do, if he can challenge these guys up front on these older tires. But right now it's Johnny Thomas and Ethan Burrell still trying to see what he can do on the outside of that 09 car.
Yeah, definitely impressed by what Johnny Thomas has been doing so far today. The 09 been very quick, and he has without a doubt shown that he has the race-winning pace you need to win this thing. And there he goes. Johnny Thomas gets a good start. Josh Robbins going to have an advantage as Jared Rexing sideways exiting, and I wonder if that'll stack him up too bad. Nope. Everyone keeps it going straight throughout the field, and we're all right to sail him off into 3.
Yep, we seem to be just fine here on the racetrack with the green flag out, and Jared Rexing just kind of getting back into it on that high line. Just maybe needs to slow it down a little bit, get back into a rhythm there. Just a bit of wheel spin there on that restart to really not give him the best kind of start he was hoping for. A little bit further back, just on the bottom end of the top 10. R.C. Anderson almost gets in the back of the 90 car of Scott Crump. He's going to go to the outside, and again, you see that 50 car, I think, struggling really looks like on the braking here tonight, trying to really dive it in on those brakes when really you do have to just take it really, really slow around this racetrack. There isn't, a late braking maneuver that can really get you much more time that we're seeing RC trying to pull off, and you see that car continuously falling up to that top side of the track, and yeah, not really working out right now for this 50 car, but he's trying to make that outside lane work when I don't really think there is one here at Martinsville.
I'm legitimately impressed by the run of Josh Clark tonight, and then also this guy, our in-race reporter, Damian Leininger, all the way back up and trying to get into 11th spot around R.C. Anderson. If he can make that work, that would be a nice comeback. Damian, though, bouncing it off the curb sideways while we're talking about him.
We're going to flip away from Damian Leininger then.
Yeah, no, Josh Clark has the freshest tires of anyone in the top 10, and he is looking pretty racy tonight. See if he can get up there with his teammates Ethan Burrell and David Tooker and try to make that a good pro edge run.
Yeah, haven't gotten a chance to call Josh Clark's name too much this season. Had a great season in 2020B. Hasn't quite been able to put together the same results that he was able to. Was Mr. Consistency last year. Hasn't quite had that same luck go his way this year.
No, Clark is 14th in points, shockingly enough. It doesn't seem like he's been anywhere near the top 10. And then you look at, Key is around behind, and he's going to turn Leininger head on into the wall. So much for that. We talked about both of those guys a number of times singing their praises, and we wield too much power, Rich.
Man, I was just about to say on the next caution we should bring in Damian and talk to him, but I don't know. Might be another situation where we might need to see this cool off here. Let's head to that iRace Online replay and see what happened between the 25 and the number 12 off the final corner here.
I think it was pretty clear what happened there. There we saw the stack up start and then Key and maybe Damian got in a little bit. No, that's fine.
I think it started with them. It wasn't the stack up in front of them. It started right there with the 12 and the 25.
Just a little bit of contact there exiting, and looks like the field does a fantastic job of checking up for him. And man, it is amazing, man. We have the power. We have the power of everyone in our hands. Who do you want to win the race? We'll just talk about everyone but them.
I swear, man. I'm good friends with Tyler Fody and Brian Blauman in the IndyCar series, and I mention them pretty frequently when they're having good runs, and pretty much instantly this entire season they've both been taken out. So they've both had some words with me saying to never mention those two cars on the broadcast until they're sitting in victory lane. So we'll see how that works out for them as we as we go further into the season. We've got the month of May coming up in the IndyCar series, so absolutely make sure you guys are staying tuned to the Elite Racing Network, all the live videos that we're putting up here, the live streams for all these races. Scott Crump right now being shown as our leader, as many of the leaders have come down pit road for fresh tires.
Yep, that's how about that. Big time change up there in the running order. Josh Clark going to take second. Colin Fern will be third after pit stops here. Johnny Thomas down pit road.
Yeah, looks like this group of cars around the 20th position or so, maybe a little bit higher up that order. Johnny Thomas gets into that final pit box, that nice clean run off of pit road. Same with Ryan Gavel.
So we will see now whether or not some of these guys who haven't been way up front can hold the lead for themselves. Scott Crump, Josh Clark, Colin Fern, RC Anderson. RC has been one that we've kind of been commenting on his driving style the whole night. It's been very interesting, not orthodox whatsoever. He's kind of running the top lane and trying to diamond it off the corners, and it hasn't really been working for him, but we'll see.
Yeah, we like you said, we mentioned RC at the top of the show, where he's really here having a good time, trying to come into each race and just win race by race. And I like the style that he's approaching a lot of these tracks with. I think he's adapted extremely well to the 1.5 mile tracks that he always talked about as the biggest thorn in his side. The short tracks I think are generally an easier transition from someone who's a born and bred road course racer like RC is. So a little bit surprising to see him struggling a little bit more at Martinsville, but I like the fact that he's experimenting, and that's the reason we're seeing maybe a little bit more struggling, is that car is going on the on parts of the track where nobody else is really even touching.
Yeah, and that might actually help you out a little bit if RC can stop sliding it and getting spun out and whatnot. If he can do that, it might help him to be up where no one else is, because we've seen a number of guys kind of bounce off of each other and running in that standard bottom lane. Maybe what you need to do is run the top.
Yeah, potentially, and again, look to those later restarts. If RC is able to perfect that top lane, no matter where he starts, then in a late race restart, it could certainly be something to watch out for. Is how well that 50 car could do if he figures out that top lane. So, keep an eye on him. Don't expect to see the 50 car, moving forward too much right now. It looks like there's still some work to figure out there in terms of getting that top lane to work. But if he does get it hooked up, man, that's dangerous.
Yeah, RC's the one you got to watch out for. He hasn't seemed to be one of the ones to really blow your doors off today. It's been really Johnny Thomas and Ryan Gavel on that. But RC's running that interesting line. He's making the story known, and I think if RC is gonna make a move in this race, he'll need to figure out a way to get that to work a little better for him than it is currently.
All right, we are going to actually be pacing for one more lap, or a couple more laps here. We did have them 2x2. I think we might have had that pace lap extended. So interesting there. I did want to comment, we've got Scott Crump and Josh Clark leading, but the car I want us all to pay attention to is down in the 21st position, and that's Johnny Thomas here in the 09 car. Having to let a lot of these other cars go by. I wonder if he received a tail of the end of the longest line there for some reason. But no, that might just be the cars getting back into order here. That might have been why we had the delay of the green.
Way up ahead of those guys. Well, they wouldn't have all sped on pit road. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah, very strange situation. Pace car, yeah, still out for another lap then. So once again, not going green. We have the cars double file. So
we'll ask into some of the chats here and see if I can't figure it out.
We'll get that information for you guys as soon as possible. But the lights are now out on that pace car. Expect to see us back to green flag racing. We're running lap 133 right now, just past that halfway mark here at Martinsville. And it's getting down into crunch time. Guys might start getting a little bit more aggressive as the race continues to go on, starting to make moves because they're running out of laps, but probably not for, I'd hope, another 75 or so laps. Still a long way to go in this one. And Scott Crump with the move on the outside gets it going very early. But Josh Clark doing a good job to hold on the inside as Matthew Weeks dives it down on RC Anderson. They keep it pointed in the right direction, but that looked like the brakes just did not seem to register there for Matthew Weeks. Just dove it in way too aggressively for that 11 car. They're all pointing in the right direction, though, and and we're keeping it under green for now.
It's okay so far. Ryan Gavel, the one really trying to move forward, being very aggressive here right now, trying to move his way back through the field. I think he knows he has a pretty big advantage over Johnny Thomas and the likes, and it looks like another caution has come out once again.
That is correct. And ooh, Ethan Burrell, no. It is that 37 car of Ethan Burrell involved in the incident. We've got a couple of other cars that were stopped on track there. We'll bring you guys the iRace Online replay, and it looks like Ethan might have just been caught the end of that incident. We'll see what we can find here regarding some other cars. It might have been the 12 and the 63 coming together. Teammates.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. You know, Damien's been around a lot of incidents tonight, and we've mentioned his luck, but we'll see.
Yep, so Damien Leininger, that car without the front bumper. The 63 also without a front bumper there. You see them lined up. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. Damien, I think, checks up maybe for cars checking up.
Oh, and Ethan, nowhere to go. I think Tyler Fody might have even pushed him into it. Fody might have damage as well. A couple of top 5 cars taken out in that one.
Yeah, the bumper on that 40 car actually looks all right despite all of that. But yeah, not great. A lot of really strong cars involved in that incident.
Yeah, another instance of just a little bit of a mistiming entering the corner in Martinsville. It's just very, very hard to keep that on your mind once you're into these corners and under caution so much.
Yeah,
it's been difficult to see so far tonight where these cars are entering the corner in front of you. Man, we've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's certainly something I'd love to listen into is the race control decisions that they're having to make here because, heading into this 2021 A season, there's definitely been a greater leniency on a lot of on-track incidents, a lot more chance that EOLs, which are penalty format end of line penalties, are not handed out in incidents like that. I think if you talked about this in 2020 B. Somebody would have gotten an EOL there, possibly Hank, possibly somebody behind Hank. But, I think there's definitely a lot more leniency in race control, but I think they also need to find that balance right now. And I think they might still be looking right now to see, what incidents do we have to call and what incidents are the ones that we can kind of say, all right, we'll leave that as a racing deal and let them figure it out on track.
I want to see a little bit more concrete factors as to what constitutes a wreck, and I think we can tailor those to particular tracks too. Maybe we need to have a discussion about this, and we'll put it out on the broadcast. Maybe if any of our viewers happen to have a really good idea about how to police drivers around kind of having patience, having respect on track, punishing those for bad conduct. Feel free to share with us. We definitely have needed help, but I can't help but wonder if maybe setting some concrete, this action will result in EOL, such as at Martinsville. I would describe that as driving it into the corner and just blasting somebody in the rear end and spinning them out. Unless you were Gerald Campbell earlier in the race, who was bumped by Chad Frankenfield, which in that case you could theoretically give the EOL to Chad. Gerald wouldn't get that, but we've seen Hank he had plenty of room to get on the brakes a little better there, and he just absolutely ran in and smashed into Damien.
Yeah, certainly some discussions to be had, but we're getting back to green flag racing. Lap 141 of 250 when they take over. Scott Crump with a nice big advantage, and Gerald Campbell trying to work that outside lane over Josh Clark. Gerald with slightly newer tires. Caution is back out on track.
I'm not going to talk about anybody who's running in the top 10 at this point. These guys are all running great. Man, great restart for Scott Crump, I guess. Man, it has just been a miserable night for Damien Leininger if this is indeed the cause of the caution.
It is, unfortunately. Damien Leininger in the 12 car. We'll head over to that iRace Online replay. Just not even really involved with too many other drivers. Josh Robin maybe with some damage on the nose there, but a self-spin off the final corner. Gets it loose on the power, getting onto the restart, and that brings out another caution here tonight. With those back-to-back cautions here, we expect to probably not see too many drivers come down pit road, so I expect a somewhat uneventful caution here. We're going to head right back. We're going to give you guys a brief word from our sponsors here at the Elite Racing Network.
My name is John Cunningham with C2 Freight Resources. We are a Hub Zone certified logistics company here in Houston, Alabama. We've been in business for over 20 years, working with the Department of Defense and the federal government, among many other customers. C2 is committed to truckload shipments along with less than truckload shipments across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Our high level of service is what keeps our customers coming back year after year. Our industry-leading transportation management software, along with our tracking software, allow our customers to know where their shipments are at any time, any day. In closing, C2 Freight looks forward to earning your trust and business through actions day in and day out. We know if given the opportunity, you'll be pleased with our service and communication.
Richmar Florist makes every day a special day, from weddings and large events to that little something for any occasion. Richmar Florist has the perfect floral expression, and they're open online 24/7 at richmarflorist.com. Everywhere, every day. Richmar's 2 retail locations offer a fantastic selection of floral creations, gifts, and home decor. Book your free consultation in our showroom for your special event needs, and visit us online at richmarflorist.com today.
Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. My name is Rish of Kosa, joined in the booth by David Westergreen here. 250 laps tonight for the SMRI Productions 250 at Martinsville.
Yep, Scott Crump out in front on the pit strategy of staying out. He has the oldest tires in the top 10 or so. Actually, just kidding. Tyler Dixon there in 7th spot has 109 laps on his tires. Tires just haven't seemed to matter because there's so many cautions so far.
Yeah, you know, staying out, we saw it a couple weeks ago actually at North Wilkesboro in the Xfinity Series, where the winners of that race never brought those cars down pit road. Now, with a longer race here at Martinsville, like 250 laps, obviously all these cars have been down pit road at least twice, I believe. Actually, Scott Crump just once. However, you know, when you have cautions like that, when you have an inability to make overtakes, that's a legitimate strategy call.
Yeah, and we're seeing Johnny Thomas. We saw Ethan Burrell get absolutely wrecked out because of that strategy. So, you know, Johnny Thomas, Ryan Gable, they have not been able to work their way back to the front. It seems like staying out, the longer you do that, the better you'll be. Gerald Campbell, Josh Clark continue their battle, and I wonder if Clark will have anything for Crump if they can keep it green for a few laps here.
Gavel looks like he's going to take it 3 wide into turn 3, and ooh, Joshua Personette, and there we go. We've got Chuck Sweeting around, and another incident on track, another caution flag out on the racetrack.
We were kind of talking under the commercial break about what on earth to do with some of these. The other thing I would have called is, hey, if you drive it in 3 wide and that yields a wreck, you know, that's going to start needing to be a penalty. You know, I know Ryan Gable wants to get to the front, but yeah, it might not have even been him, really.
I don't know if I'd put that on Ryan Gavel. Yeah, I'd put that on potentially that car. Yeah, like, yes, he was the one who brought that Group 3 wide. I'd certainly like to actually head back and watch that again there, but I don't know if Gavel did too much to really affect that group there as much.
Right, and then that's the crux of the problem is who's at fault here, right? You know,
Yeah.
Is it Josh Personette? Josh Personette held his line. What's he supposed to do?
Yeah.
You know, is it Chuck Sweeting? Well, Chuck Sweeting might have come down a little bit, but he's trying to enter the corner, you know? Maybe it's just Martinsville's fault. We give an EOL to Martinsville and we head on out of here.
Certainly, we tend to take that season off from Martinsville, and I suspect we'll be seeing a similar thing here next season. Actually, I'm not sure if the calendars have been released for next season in the JoinAPS Cup Series. Martinsville might be back.
And I don't believe Martinsville's on it, actually.
Okay.
He might have tried to run 500 miles.
I think we might have an argument against the 500 mile or the 500 lap race at Martinsville for next season.
Yeah, I think we can do it. There's got to be a change in attitude. And as of right now, no Martinsville on the schedule. The short tracks will be Richmond and Bristol, and both of those 150 laps. So I'm looking forward for that because those are the lengths we need to run these short tracks. 250 is just too much.
Absolutely, yeah. Just pretty long races here, uncomfortably long races probably. where yeah, you end up with too many of these incidents really going on. You got guys coming down pit road though, some different strategies here. Again, the big names that came down. Scott Crump, I believe, has been down. No, actually, he hasn't. Scott Crump's still out there on 70 lap old tires. Yep.
It's working for him as long as Scott Crump can just kind of hang on right there and maintain the lead for 2 or 3 laps till the next caution. That's what's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, a great run there, and he, again, having that first starting spot, being able to dictate when the field goes green is such a huge advantage that, I mean, if we're not going green I mean, if we're staying caution, we're not able to give a chance for the 28 car, the 31, or the 86 of Colin Fern to really catch up to Scott Crump. Yeah, I mean, he's perfectly fine running out there on 150 lap old tires if he really wanted to. If there's just no opportunities for anyone to overtake, why give up that track position?
Right, and as long as we're under caution the whole time, your fuel's not an issue, overtakes aren't an issue. It's just you have that advantage. You might as well use it.
Absolutely, it's an advantage that he should take advantage of, and yeah, he certainly is. It's lights still out on that pace car. Scott Crump leading the way over Joshua Clark. It's been a little bit slow moving here, the past couple of laps. Just haven't been able to.
It's all back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. We've been pretty caution filled here tonight, but hoping to get a nice little green flag run here again. We're under 100 laps to the checkered flag. We're getting ready to go back to green for I want to say the 10th, 11th time. I've lost count at this point.
I think we're up to 13 or 14. Not sure if we have the race summary tab off of ATVO anymore, but
fortunately not on this current setup that we have, but we can potentially get that for you if we get the Dan Lisa update, as Gerald Campbell very nearly puts us under a caution flag again. He gets super loose off the corner. He's going to lose a number of positions, but back on track there. Vincent Isabella as well. We got them 3 wide off the corner. Vincent does a good job at staying out of the way, I think, a little bit, and just kind of not getting involved in any 3 wide action. Ryan Gavel trying to make that move on the outside lane, and he might complete it here on Gerald Campbell.
I'd watch this 28 and 86 up front. They have had a number of run-ins this season, and if Josh Clark we'll see if Josh Clark has a long memory or a short one. Looks like maybe his memory is pretty short. The 86 car outright dumped him for about 10th spot at Milwaukee, and wondering if we would see anything there, but it looks like Colin Fern, the one to take advantage. 86 car hunting his teammate for the lead here.
Yeah, right now 86 car looks like one of the faster guys on track, and the caution flag back out, and it's the 64 this time. Andrew Rucker, stationary, spun around off of turn number 2. Back to the iRace Online replay. Of course, certainly these past few weeks, iRace Online has been getting their money's worth with these replays. Great coverage there for them, and lots of other parts of the broadcast can be sponsored. So absolutely reach out to us here at the Elite Racing Network if you're interested. Here's the 64 car coming into turn number 1. Does he get booted by the 42? No, looks like he just loses it on his own up top on the racetrack.
I think that might be it for Andrew Rucker. Not sure if one of those other incidents he was involved in was deserving of an EOL, but that one certainly will be, and if he had 2, then that would park him for the day.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out. Right now, Andrew Rucker's still circulating at the back of the field, and we'll wait and see what the race stewards decide there. Not sure if he has an EOL, as we were discussing. More lenient race control, more lenient stewarding this season especially. So some of those incidents that we called that we might have put blame on some drivers, race control might certainly not have agreed with us on all of that.
Yep. So we're certainly not fully abreast of the EOL situation. Looks like that may have been Rucker's first. He's still out there on the lead lap in 26th spot. And Scott Crump and Colin Fern, the top 2. And Fern is certainly being the most impressive of the drivers of late, though Crump just able to hold on those older tires. And he's been kind of known for that at Bristol on Monday in Erskine. He hung on in the top 5 throughout several long green flag runs. Older tires, damaged car, and came home with I think a 4th place finish there. So he's kind of known for just being difficult to pass on old tires. So he can just do it the whole run. And I believe he also won our race on Monday night at the Rock on old tires.
Yeah, Scott Crump definitely likes those older that older rubber there. Or I don't know if he likes it, but he's certainly pretty good there. But yeah, Colin Fern looks fast behind his teammate, but expect these guys to work together on the restart, create a buffer. They've also got teammate Josh Adams there behind them as well, so you can create a lane of 3 Ruthless Motorsports cars in front of the 28 car of Josh Clark if they do this restart correctly. And that could give them a nice little buffer, especially when you're looking at the likes of Ryan Gavel, who's been quickly moving his way back up through the order, trying to get to these guys. He's got the freshest tires up inside the top 8.
Yep, Ethan Burrell just sent me a message, said always find a way to get screwed. He is unhappy about the results of the crash on that one, and definitely feel for the driver of the 37 car. We've been harping on when he's going to get that win, but you just got to have some more luck than 0, and he's had 0 of late, and it's just disappointing.
Yeah, extremely disappointing. Again, there have been so many occasions where that 37 car has, been not necessarily, I'm not going to say deserving of a victory, because who knows what happens if he was still in the race at the end, but deserving of being in that fight, being there at the end. I look especially to Bristol. I mean, how dominant was that car at the early stages of Bristol? And then to have that issue with his wheel, I think it was his wheel, to completely ruin that run. I mean, absolutely brutal. And again, just the bad luck hits hard. And when it hits hard, it stays there for a while. But we're back to green flag racing. Hopefully, for Ethan Burrell's sake, is able to come back in the coming weeks here. But Scott Crump defending from teammate Colin Fern there in the second position. Josh Adams trying to get by Joshua Clark on the inside lane. Clark not yielding quite yet to that Ruthless Motorsports car on the outside.
Rexing saves it there, and teammates doing battle back in the field, Robin and Campbell. Might have even bounced off each other there. Josh Robin threw his teammate Campbell, and Gable trying to take it 3 wide on Clark, thinks better of it for now. Josh Clark, though, holding strong in third, and Gavel will now try to get 4th from Josh Adams.
Yeah, Gavel trying to get to that bumper. He wasn't quite able to do that to prevent the 95 car from making it inside, but now here you go. Robin's going to take away that inside, and Crump has lost the lead to Colin Fern. Colin Fern is our new leader, and Ryan Gavel is looking for... Ooh!
Yep, right there. Josh Clark.
Poor Josh Clark.
They're going to crash anyway. Robin Adams in the wall.
I was going to say,
through it.
Poor Josh Clark was the one who got kind of caught up in other people's messes there, as that just kind of dominoed into him, and then of course that secondary crash. So all right, there's a lot to unpack there.
Man, there's so many laps to go. I just don't understand. I understand Ryan Gavel's a little desperate, wants to get through, and he's been blocked by Adams a couple of times. Why is Josh Adams driving it to the apron there, trying to get under Josh Clark when he's obviously under attack from Ryan Gavel? That's just not going to work out, and it gets him wrecked. I don't know. I just don't understand. What about these short tracks makes these drivers lose their heads? Those guys are usually really level-headed. Ryan Gavel, Josh Adams, those guys are level-headed drivers, very good drivers, and this is just not a good move by either of them, really.
Yeah, really not what you'd expect to see from the guys running 1st and 4th, I believe, in the championship order. I mean, these guys, they've gotten to that position because they've been consistent and consistently good. Those kind of moves are certainly not going to help your championship runs.
I know, and man, I have no idea. Very confusing for sure. And Gavel's now going to have an opportunity to get back through there. He's undamaged by that contact, and Robin on the way back. But I think what we need to do right now is bring in Damian Leininger before he ends up in the hauler.
That's a great point there. Let's call him up here and talk to Damian.
Damian, how'd you make it up to 5th, man? What the heck?
Dude, I don't know.
Yeah, this is remarkable here. What do you think about the aggression on track, man? We just saw guys throwing blocks for 5th place with 100 laps to go. I'm just not sure what and those are some level-headed guys that I know. What are you kind of seeing out there that's different than kind of normal?
I just think people anticipate more wrecks happening and just pacing, so they're trying to make a move when they can see a move or see an inch of daylight. It just doesn't seem like anybody wants to really have patience right now. I mean, there was a ton of dive bombs within those 2 or 3 laps we got right there.
Yeah, so a bit of a paradox there, as everybody is anticipating the cautions but not expecting themselves to be the ones who cause that caution. So certainly interesting out here on the racetrack. I mean, it was a good start to the race. I was kind of wondering, I mean, what always happens here? And we've seen this time and time again. It's nothing new to Martinsville, or this is not a novel concept that in this race, but a lot of the time these races start with these nice long green flag runs, and the second that first caution flag comes out, that second the first driver makes a mistake, you know, all bets are off, right? You can have a number of cautions after that, and we're seeing that happen here again. What is it about this form of racing? What is it about, what's going on here and at these short tracks especially, that causes that kind of strange pattern that we consistently see throughout these short track races?
Just guys not wanting, I mean, at the beginning not to make a mistake, and then you get fast guys into the back and they're trying to make their time up. But I mean, it's just a product of this racing a little bit. But we're getting ready to go green here, guys. So if we get another caution, pull me back up.
We will see if you're still on the track. So good luck, Damien.
Thank you.
All right, Damian Leininger, restarting from the 5th position. I didn't even notice how far up that 12 card worked his way back up the order. So, no front bumper on that thing, but still in contention here. And they are bumping and banging before we even go green. What is going on here, guys?
That's going to be, I don't know what happened there. Did Scott Crump maybe hit the wall?
Scott
Colin
Crump blinking on the top side there, but...
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Damian Leininger's going to be in the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so about that, we send him back in there, and he ends up around his teammate Ryan Gable, and I think he's going to lead a lap right here. Yes, the 12 car out front. I don't know, man.
Oh, and the 8 car in the wall hard for Josh Robin, your winner at Bristol. That's going to bring out another caution. A lot of cars around.
Jared Owens, Jeff Green, David Tooker involved. Oh my gosh.
All right.
And Damian Leininger is the leader. I don't know.
We're going to that restart because there is a lot to unpack here.
What happened to Crump and Fern?
We're about to find out here. That restart just did not go, and it was such a strange situation. We'll head to, let's take a look here. So Colin Fern should have been your control car, correct? Yes.
I think so. Colin was in the lead.
All right, so here we go. So Colin Fern, that car on the inside lane, he's your control car. You got Scott Crump with a bit of a higher lane here. You got guys just jumping the start. It's simple as that. Guys jumping the start.
I don't know, man. Fern isn't even going. What was he doing? Because Fern's supposed to go. He's the leader.
I get that. It could have been a late start from Fern, but I think guys just jumped. They just expected to be going off of 4. Fern might have wanted to restart later. Again, we need a restart zone. iRacing, I mean, if I unfortunately doubt it. If anybody from iRacing is watching that, we need that absolutely as an option here.
Robin right here, and Robin bounced off of Brandon Key, it looks like, and then gets cleaned up by Jared Rexing. Tooker spins into RC Anderson. There's Owens getting involved. There's
Dustin Dewar.
Who's on it? It must be Dusty.
Yep, David Tooker there around as well.
We need a view. I think just the wreck here, and I think Tooker put RC in the wall. Someone else was above RC. They got taken out as well. Gosh. See it.
Ooh. Yeah.
Tooker and RC, and it was Hank. Hank's had his fair share of incidents today. Certainly an innocent bystander that time, but what a wild restart there for sure. And certainly the craziest thing that's happened today. I mean, now it's Damian Leininger out front somehow.
How about that?
Who knows, 4 or 5 incidents, and no, he's fine. Chad Frankenfield in second. Then, Ryan Gavel, and then Johnny Thomas and Tyler Fody. So now the top 5 actually looks pretty normal, with the exception of the guy we know has been involved in like everything.
Yeah, and a big shout out to Zach Evans as well, up in that 87 car.
No,
shoot!
Don't say anything.
Oh, no.
All right, but
Zach, I apologize in advance for whatever's about to happen on this next restart.
Gotta try it. We gotta be careful with this power. It's we feel it so flippantly. No, but for real, great run by Zach Evans in the Richard Hines number 87 car. He's up in 6th spot, and we're testing fate, but hopefully he can keep that thing straight and bring it home in one piece.
I wanted to make more. I see other guys in the top 15 that I want to shout out, but I don't want to do that now. Oh man. We'll test it with Zach. If it works with Zach, we'll keep doing that. Each caution will have another shout out. We'll try that out. Let's see.
One per caution, just in case we have to be worried. They're all going to wad them up all at the same time. We'll build them up after 3 cautions. They'll all wad them up.
Hey,
how about Andrew Rucker has climbed up to 12th after being involved in several incidents as well, and RC is going to still be 11th. I wonder if he just stayed out with a pretty hefty amount of damage, so that may be a bit dangerous for the field here.
Yeah, R.C. Anderson did get that damage there. Doesn't have that rear bumper cover. But yeah, still out there. Has not been down pit road in the past 26 laps here. So R.C. Anderson, I mean, look at all the damage on a lot of these cars here running inside the top 10. Your leader doesn't even have a front bumper, so how about that? But Damian Linder, I mean, what a comeback this has been so far. He's going to go nice and early. We expected that. That's what a lot of people have been doing. I think the surprise was Fern going so late, and Ryan Gavel slots into the second position behind his teammate. But Leininger with a nice lead early on, and Tyler Fode right now working alongside Johnny Thomas with that 40 car with probably that preferred line.
Yep, and Johnny he's been the fastest car probably all night, but hasn't had the track position, and now he's back in 5th. Just probably needs to put in some laps and try to get this thing home in one piece. You've made it through all the wrecks so far. Don't pit again. Just hang on up front. You'll be okay.
Absolutely, and Brandon Key, how about that number 25 car running in the 6th position? No.
One per. Man.
Well, we got to talk about some drivers. We can't ignore everybody. All right, how about this? We're gonna just we're just gonna watch the wall here. We're gonna enjoy just some of the scenic views here. We're not gonna talk about
already.
Oh, no.
Who was it?
It's the 95 car of Josh Adams.
Okay, let's just say. Well, we've talked about Adams a number of times today too, but he has certainly had his share of issues of late. Oh man,
it looks like he got turned completely around. So we'll take a look and see exactly what this was here. Josh Adams into the corner, checks up behind Vincent Isabella, and then that's a weird.
Rexing runs him over.
Yeah, Rexing runs him over. It looked like, though it almost looked like there might have been a gap, and Rexing just stationary there up top. So kind of strange situation as a whole, and Adams having to face backwards as the field goes by him.
Yeah, Adams gets it righted, and I believe he will stay on the lead lap here. I think maybe under this caution we could pick a K&P graphics player of the race. A scheme of the race. We are looking at probably 2 of our nominees.
Yeah,
there, Josh Personet's number 18, the rainbow car.
I'm obsessed with this 18 car. That is gorgeous. But yeah, I mean, so many good paint schemes across the field here.
Right, well, here's my thought. If you want, right, since we might have already cursed Zach Evans, we could just give him the paint of the race, and then it's a win either way.
That's you know what? That's probably not a bad call here. I like that. You know what? Try and get these drivers on our good side again. I'm a fan of that. The last thing I need is more angry texts from drivers saying never talk about me on the stream again, because I've gotten a number of those.
Right. We could also bring in Damian Leininger again. I don't know that I want to disturb him. You know, we might inflict some poor luck onto the race leader right now, but man, he did not lose any time to Ryan Gavel. I wonder if the damage on that 12 car might be a little less than we are seeing. We are seeing a pretty hefty amount of damage, but maybe his is clean. Maybe we'll bring him in and talk to him about how much damage he has, actually. That's probably a good question for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of those things, and when he brings him in, and we've got Damian Leininger in with here now, and Damian, I mean, obviously, what a restart there, a kind of strange one. I guess let's first talk about what actually happened on that restart. What happened that caused that huge checkup and that ultimately led in you leading after that lap?
Boys, it got crazier since we talked to you last time. That was just like 4 minutes ago. But I think the 90 car on the outside tried to jump the start, and everybody saw that, started trying to go, and then, it started checking everybody else up, and then I went to the inside because, I mean, we were all hitting to each other, and then I saw there was no caution, so I just kept in the gas and ended up by the turn 1. I was side by side with Chad for the lead.
And then, so I guess the question now is, we're seeing you have no front nose. How much damage is actually on this 12 car?
It says I have 2,000 RPM, so it still says like it doesn't have any engine damage.
Wow.
It definitely feels a little tighter. It doesn't turn as good, but I think it has the speed still in it.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, you're kind of holding off your teammate Ryan Gavel there. So good luck on this next restart, Damian, and yeah, go get him, man.
Thank you.
All right, Damian Leininger, your current race leader here. He's certainly been up and down throughout the field tonight. That 12 car has been through a lot, but right now he's going to be the one to pace this next restart. The pace car is off. Expect to see Leininger going for it just here off of turn 4. That's typically where we've been seeing the restarts done. And there you see, once again, this time Gavel tries to get a good restart alongside his teammate, doesn't quite get there, and Tyler Fode might even be on by, and we'll see a Lake Norman 1-2-3 here by the end of these first couple of laps here.
Chad Frankenfield's going to do everything in his power to disrupt this group of cars. Ooh, Fode in close with Ryan Gable. Damien definitely didn't get as good of a restart that time, and we did note though that his power's up. It seems like the damage on that car not nearly as severe as what we're seeing, and the caution out once again. Man, it's been brutal tonight.
It really has been brutal. 5 car of Alec Balvans there involved in that incident, as well as the 18 car of Joshua Personette. To the iRace Online replay we go.
Wonder if Alec Balvans was one of those drivers you were kind of considering talking about there.
I wanted to.
Yep, that's just like that. Even just thinking
you know what? That's fair. That's another way to look at it. I was gonna say, by not mentioning his name, I think I gave him bad luck. So that's what I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna say we're not cursed, even though I'm pretty sure we are.
Oh, we're cursed. I don't know if there's any doubt on that.
5 car on the outside just gets it loose off the corner, unfortunately, and guys on that outside line, unfortunately, just caught up in a lot of that. That was the 95.
And taken by Mike Goodman there as well. Looks like he just released the brake one time, and as soon as he did that, bang, Michael Goodman into him hard. Scott Crump now going to have a good bit of damage, and then that was what happens when you pit out of the lead. Harrison Talon, I know, has been fixing damage for probably the last hour or so on this 23 car, and he had commented in the Elite Racing chat that it was a grind. He had been trying to get all the damage fixed, and there it goes. More damage right back on the 23 car.
Yeah, just has not been the night for him at all. Unfortunate for Harrison Talon. Talented guy this is his first full-time Cup Series run here, and has made a pretty solid splash. Has had some good results. Unfortunately, tonight is probably unlikely to be one of those. There's still a long way to go, and still on that lead lap. So, and we've seen just how chaotic this can get. With Damien Leininger, of course, making all of that progress over the course of the first half of this race.
Harrison finished 10th at Bristol, so this is certainly a bit of a surprising poor run from him. I was kind of thinking he would be able to keep it together a little bit better, but I think he just got sucked up really early on and wasn't able to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't unfortunately know the full story behind Harrison's race, but I do struggle to think that that's purely pace is why he's back there in 26. I think there's certainly other features just looking at that 23 car involved in other incidents over the course of this race.
We've seen guys kind of drop and migrate to the back from the front all race long and have issues. We've seen Jared Rexing was up front early in the race, seeming to look like he had one of the fastest cars on track, and currently 26th. He's been involved in a couple of incidents. I'm sure there's a little damage on the 10 car. It just hasn't been a factor since the early stages. And then, kind of counteractively, we have Damien Leininger, Hank Steinmiller, Brandon Key all up here with no nose on the cars running in the top 10. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a wild race.
All right, well, I'm going to give you, this time it's going to be your freebie here. Who is the freebie shout-out we've got during this caution? Do you even want to take it?
I don't want to take it. But I will go ahead. We'll go with Hank Steinmiller there in 7th spot. We've seen him involved in a number of incidents. He's bounced off of some people, but he's kept it running. And as far as we're concerned tonight, that's all you need. And he has moved it back up into 7th. He's within striking distance of the top 5. Good run for Hank Steinmiller. That's my shout out. If he wrecks, I'm sorry, Hank.
Hank might actually be on us about that if he does wreck out there. Pace car is off, though. Damien Leininger is going to pace this field back to the green flag, hopefully for more than just a couple of laps this time. It feels like it's been a while since we've had a run that's lasted even 10 laps long. So we're back to green flag racing. Those Lake Norman Motorsports cars get in line. And then you've got the Richmar Florist Esports cars right behind them with Lake Norman Motorsports, 63 of Hank Steinmiller behind them. So it's Fords and Chevys, Lake Norman Motorsports versus Richmar Florist up inside that top 6.
Johnny Thomas really being one of the fastest cars. We've mentioned it a couple of times, and if Johnny can get up into this group of Lake Norman Motorsports Chevys, I think he'll have something for the lead. For now, though, this 09 car is going to just have to settle out in 4th. It's just so difficult to pass. You just don't have all that much time. But there's Hank Steinmiller into 5th. 63 car looking a little bit racy. He does have fresher tires. though he might have just squirreled him up coming off the corner there and given the outside back to Chad Frankenfield.
Yeah, a little bit loose there off the corner. He's still got that preferred line, and I think Chad's going to struggle to get by him there off the corner. Hank might be able to clear this 15 car once again, and Chad might even be stuck behind Brandon Key, but we've got another caution flag out on the racetrack. It's Scott Haney in the number 3 car around in turns 1 and 2.
Well, the good news is Ethan Burrell will be back in the lead lap. The bad news is Scott Haney's involved in the crash. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Man,
unfortunately.
oh man. You know, it's been a ride today, and you know, this is what we were expecting, man. Martinsville is pretty crazy, but I don't. There's Jared Rexing. I don't know about that one.
You know, I don't love to call out drivers on the air. We've seen that move from that 10 car a number of times, I think, tonight, unfortunately, where he has been maybe a little bit later on the brakes, whether that's just the pace of that 10 car, you know, and he's been able to, or he's more comfortable running later on the brakes, that could be part of it. But also, I mean, you have to have a little bit more of that situational awareness and understand that, you know, Scott Haney might not be as strong on the brakes into the corner, and we've seen that move a number of times as well with many other drivers.
Yeah, it's not just Jared, but not a great showing for him tonight. And you know, that's one of our top drivers in points there, 4th in points. Kind of expecting a little bit more out of some of those guys. So
certainly, we expected Martinsville to shake things up. Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those tracks that can do that. You know, in the real life, in the real life chase, in the real life playoffs, it's definitely one of the tracks that a lot of drivers circle as potentially chaotic, and a driver, you know, potentially, you know, that being a wild card round for somebody to get into the Final Four. You know, we see that, and we're seeing a similar thing like that here tonight. Obviously, Ryan Gavel has worked his way back up to the front. Johnny Thomas has as well, and Gerald Campbell still very much in this fight up front. Though actually, I believe he's just run down pit road. As I'm looking down my ticker. But yeah, Jared Rexing, Josh Adams, Ethan Burrell all have been involved in problems. Josh Robin has had a number of issues here tonight. Andrew Rucker, Colin Fern. I mean, tons of drivers inside that top 10 in the points, all with issues tonight.
Yep, and Ryan Gable and Johnny Thomas have somehow dodged everything and are in the top 5. Whether or not, you know, that comes back to bite me later, and Johnny and Ryan are then mad at me. It remains to be seen, but for now, it's those two guys are looking to extend their points lead, and that would be, I think, huge in the battle for the regular season championship. Johnny and Ryan would kind of be able to probably handle it amongst themselves if they could get a fairly big result over Gerald.
Yeah, right now it's kind of a 3-way fight between Gavel, Thomas, and Campbell. With Jared Rexing a little ways behind that top 3 group right now. Right now, it looks like Johnny Thomas, like you said, Johnny Thomas and Ryan Gavel look like to separate themselves from Gerald Campbell as well. But also take into account, in all fairness to Gerald Campbell, he has been inside that top 10, inside that top 5 even, for a large portion of this race. Just took tires, though, on this last caution. That's why he's currently being classified in 22nd. I'd love to see how that call works out. I think he's being pretty optimistic in the fact that there might be a long run here. Because that's the only situation I really see tires being beneficial. But keep an eye on that 31 car. You know, he's been strong, especially at these short tracks. He does like these short tracks. So Gerald Campbell could still have something for these guys. We are about to head back to Green Flag Racing, though, and Ryan Gavel on the outside tries to keep up with his teammate Damian Leininger on the inside. He's going to stay there, but not quite able to get on by. Johnny Thomas, though, trying to get by Tyler Fode, and he might get that job done.
Ryan Gavel got off the corner really well, but Fode kind of let him in, and Fode sends Johnny. Johnny able to keep it in, keep it straight. 09 car into 3rd, and I think that's dangerous for the rest of the pack. This 09 has been working his way forward methodically over the last 100 or so laps. It's been a while since Johnny Thomas was out in front. Ooh, Zach Evans almost spins it. Glad he didn't. Man, almost lost one of our guys that we feared we jinxed there.
Yeah, absolutely. How about this, though? The top 8 drivers right now have not won a race yet this season.
That's awesome. That's parity is coming, and it always kind of rears its ugly head. We've been doing a really good job, I think, in these all of our elite racing series of having good parity and having a lot of guys go to victory lane. We'll see if Damian can hold him off here, though. Ryan Gable and Johnny Thomas both hunting that first win, and the caution back out once again. I don't know.
Oh, I just saw what car it was. Zach, I'm sorry.
Oh no!
Zach, I'm so sorry. We did give you the pain of the race, though, so it's, it's something. But oh no, Zach, I'm so sorry.
Richard Hines just finally got back to the chat from whatever he was doing tonight, and he joined in and said, "Oh, Zach's doing a good job." And
Oh no, oh Richard, I'm so sorry. He's about to see just here as yep, a little bit too. It looks like maybe even wheel hopping into the corner there, and Gerald Campbell.
Gerald.
That's a
Tyler
big hit
Dixon
there as well for that. He just got those fresh tires, and that's going to be definitely some big damage there on that 31 car.
This is just screaming at the top three: do not pit, do not pit, do not pit. Because every time we've seen one of these kind of more fast cars go to the back, Ethan Burrell, Jared Rexing, Matthew, a bunch of them, all of them have run into issues and spun and crashed and gotten into something. Gerald Campbell, the latest of those. David Tooker, another one who has had that happen to him today. So you just got to be wary, man. You can't go back to the back of the field right now. There's only 45 laps to go, miraculously. We'll be there soon. We're winding down.
Yes, we certainly are here. It's been slow but steady work in the second half of this race here. It really has been. But yeah, that number of laps remaining keeps coming down slowly but surely, and yeah, it's we're gonna get there. Definitely a long one here tonight, even if we're able to get a nice run to the finish here. But I mean, you certainly have to commend the number of drivers we've got in contention here. Again, just the actual depth of the field is impressive when it comes to just pure talent. I think racecraft, I will say, certainly has some work to do for a number of these drivers, and just in general in the field. We've had these races before, and the discussion afterwards is never a pleasant one. And I suspect we'll have a similar one here tonight after Martinsville.
I remain on the palette of, if this race was 100 laps shorter and we had decided it, an hour and a half ago, everything would have been okay. We would only had 10-ish cautions, and we'd have been maybe a little upset, but we've ran most of this second 100 laps under pacing. I don't know what the point of that is. We had a full green flag run in there, or not a full green flag run, but a decent green flag run in there in the first half of the race. I just feel like we may have just over-lengthened it a little too much today, and we're going to try those 150 lappers. And next year, I think those will be worth tuning in for, and maybe we'll see a little bit more patience from some of those guys for the first part of the race, and then they'll be able to jump on it a little bit quicker, and since the race will wind down faster.
Yeah, it's all about managing the aggression, right, and managing it with how many laps you've got left in the race. The problem that we have is, I'd expect this if we're talking about having 20, 30 laps left in a race, but the fact that these caution periods that we have start at lap 115 in a 250 lap race, that's where you start having a problem.
Right, it's just too much right now, and I'd sure like to be able to say we have a solution for it, but currently we don't. Luckily for us, this is the last short track race of the season, and we'll be on the big tracks for the rest of the way.
Yeah, the next closest thing we've got is the Magic Mile up in New Hampshire, but definitely doesn't seem to race quite like this or Milwaukee, or we hope. But back to green flag racing. Damian Leininger, again, gets that advantage on the bottom lane, and Ryan Gavel slides into second position, and Johnny Thomas once again knocks Tyler Fode out of that bottom lane, and it's going to be Thomas back into the third position.
3 wide up back there in the middle of the pack, and there goes Chad, almost spinning, saves it. Chuck, Key, Brandon Key, Colin Fern, all battling hard here. This is the pack where the wreck's going to happen from. There goes Vincent trying to take him 3 wide. I think he thought better of it.
Yep, there you got Sweeting versus Fern as well, side by side. They settle into line there. Like you said, Scott Crum, Vincent Isabella going side by side through the corner. Oh, almost looked like Vincent might have tracked up into Scott Crum. Gerald Campbell still very much in this fight. He's up to P15 from 22 just a couple of laps ago, and being involved in that last caution. But look at the checking up that he's having to do on that bottom lane. These guys are just having to be extremely patient right now with so much difference in tires.
Both Josh Robin and Vincent Isabella have bounced it hard off of multiple walls today, and Gerald's a little bit loose there exiting. We'll give up that spot to Scott Crump. Number of guys in this kind of fight throughout here that have been involved in various incidents. For now, though, everyone is chasing Damian Leininger, and finally, I think we've sorted out the longest green flag run in a while. I don't want to jinx it too quickly.
We're gonna have a caution lap
laps.
here. We're gonna have a caution lap here. I guarantee it.
I think Ryan Gable is right on the back bumper of Damian,
Oh
and there they go.
David.
Scott Crump swoops Vincent Isabella out of the way.
What have you done?
I was testing testing it, and unfortunately,
we never learn up here in the booth. Oh man, I unfortunately saw that as soon as you said that. I watched that battle right there between the 42 and the 90, and yeah, here we go. We'll take a look. Scott Crump versus Vincent Isabella down into turn 1, and it's Crump going for.
Look at that! Bounces right off the curb, and I just don't think that's necessary for 15th spot. You know. He was faster. He would have found a way around.
Yeah,
I just don't understand
led.
the reason to go over the curb. You clearly don't have the run there. You'll make it work in the next lap. I don't get it.
Yeah, Scott Crump definitely has had one of the faster cars here tonight. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a situation where he'd need to make very aggressive moves here. There's still 35 laps in this race. There's still a long way to go here. There's still a lot of stuff that these drivers can do, but we're still seeing some issues again in the mid pack.
The question now, I think, maybe for us, is do we bring in Damian Leininger one more time?
I feel like we've tempted fate a little bit too much here. I would feel very bad if we did something to Damian Leininger here.
All right,
Ooh.
So no one is leading the race.
To those who'd love to hear from the 12 car, I do apologize because I just made my public apology on Twitter to Zach Evans, and I'll make it again here on the air. I'm sorry, Zach, and I am sorry to any other driver that we've been jinxing here tonight because it has not been a good run for us up in the booth.
It's just difficult to kind of see this over and over again, and then it is what it is now. It looks like Crump is not getting any action against him here, and we'll move on back to the front of the field, and it's going to be a pretty consistent battle between the group that's been up there for the last several laps, and I am mighty impressed with this top 5. Gavel and Thomas, the top 2 in points, running second and third right now, trying to chase through the 12 car of Damian Leininger. He's been well covered tonight. And then Tyler Fode, Hank Steinmiller rounding it out with a very Lake Norman top 5. Chad Frankenfield in 6th.
Yeah, I'd love to say the last restart of this race, I'd love to see that be the case, but with the pattern we've been seeing, unlikely here. Damian Leininger is going to have to manage probably 1 or 2 more after this one to get us to that lap 250 mark, potentially with a green-white checker in there. So still a lot of action, a lot of racing to come from Martinsville, and this is probably the part where you normally expect to see the aggression pick up. We've already had the aggression going for the past 100 laps or so.
Kyle Walgren is watching with us. He's one of the guys who's run our Tuesday series, and I think he's also running our truck series right now. And he commented on our sheet and said just a tad more patience needed, even if you're faster. And I completely agree, Kyle. That's exactly what the problem is throughout the field right now.
Without a doubt, Kyle hit the nail on the head there, and yeah, it's something we talked about here earlier in the show. We've talked about it a number of times. Patience is key at Martinsville. We've seen that not really be the case for many drivers, and a couple of guys almost jumped there. That start, weren't patient with that restart. Damian Leininger, though, underway, and it's going to be contested, though, for the first time in a couple of restarts here by his teammate Ryan Gavel on the outside. Gavel, though, looks like, no, he's going to come back on this 12 car.
3 wide from Fern on Hank Steinmiller back in the field. Could be an incident, though. Hank gave Fern a little bit of room there, and Gavel's going to take the lead from Leininger on the top. Might not be able to clear him just yet, though. The battle for the lead here is side by side, and Damian's got him.
Run off the corner. The caution is out. I wonder who had the lead when that caution came out. It might have been Ryan Gavel.
I think it was Ryan Gavel, and that may make it difficult for Damian to continue to hold on to the lead. You know, he was in there for so long. Gavel finally pushed it on the outside and got there, and yeah, I think this one might have been a product of some of that hard racing in the middle of the pack. Kind of, I don't know. I running out of superlatives for what we're doing here tonight.
Absolutely. Let's see what we can find in terms of cars out on the racetrack who might have been involved in this latest caution. Ooh, I think I found him. It looks like it might be one of our leaders from earlier in this race, and that's the 90 car of Scott Crum. Let's see what happened here.
Let's see.
Loose off
just
the corner.
lost it. I guess.
Common incident that we've seen here. A lot of guys have been struggling with that turn 4 and a loose rear end there. So just struggling to get the power on, or maybe, again, just being a little impatient there, trying to get to that throttle really quickly, trying to get a run, but not having the grip underneath them to do so.
Yeah, he's he was overdriving it earlier, and now he overdrives and spins himself out. So there you go. I guess that's kind of what happens, though. Certainly hasn't necessarily worked out that way for everyone involved in all the incidents tonight. When someone is over aggressive and then gets away with it, and then it doesn't really come back to bite everyone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We've seen that time and time again be the case. But back up front, it is now Ryan Gavel who will control this next restart, and that's a huge advantage for that one car. I kind of even wanted to say, with him now losing that lead position, do we call in Damian Leininger and say, you know what? What
are you going to do? No, I think we got to let him battle it out here and focus on the restart. I think that's the smart play.
All right.
As broadcasters here, we'll let Damian focus on that. He's going to have to do what Ryan Gable did to him, I think, and if Johnny Thomas gets by, I think we'll see a very good battle for the win if we can just keep the whole field straight.
Yeah, Johnny Thomas with a great restarting position here. He can certainly lock Damian Leininger out on that top lane on this restart if he's able to keep up with Ryan Gavel. But though, of course, also remember that Gavel and Leininger are both in a call together. They're both probably working together to make sure they've got as much of a buffer as they can over those cars that are moving up quickly. And the ones that I'd be nervous about are the 09 car, Johnny Thomas, because of the pace, and the 86 car of Colin Firth because of his aggression. He's able to make moves. He's able to push guys out of the way to get his car up in front. He's done that to get himself into the top 5 here tonight.
He also has much fresher tires right now than everyone else has. Worked his way all the way up to 5th with, I think, 40 lap fresher tires than the rest of the top 10 right now. So, and Colin pitted after that weird restart and has clawed his way back through the field to 5th now. So, whether or not these guys can hold him off kind of remains to be seen. He'll have to do a lot of work, I think, to get around Johnny Thomas and Ryan Gavel.
Yes, he will. So, lights are out on the pace car. They are 2x2 inside lane for Ryan Gavel. So, potentially not going to come down in front of his teammates. So, that might be, we might be at the point in this race where the team orders are over at Lake Norman Motorsports, and it's every driver for himself. Ryan Gavel picking that preferred bottom lane here, and you can see that means Leininger is going to struggle a little bit on the top. He is going to get that slot, though, but
and Johnny sends, he's
and it takes out Ryan Gavel as well.
And there's 3 Lake Norman Motorsports cars up into the outside wall. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know what to tell you on that one. Damian's got to make that move down to the bottom. He has to, and I know there's not a whole lot of time left in the race. Johnny needs the lead, but you don't need. I don't know that there's anything Johnny could have done there differently.
I think that's the situation of space for 3 cars being crammed by 4 car, or there only being space for 3 cars and you're trying to fill a slot there. Yeah, there's just not space when guys run that close together. I'd love to actually grab, we do have a helmet cam with Johnny Thomas, and I want to see what that looked like from the front of that 09 car.
And Damian cutting in front of him probably changed the way he viewed the corner a little bit, and that may have shaken up his own braking zone there.
Restart on board with Johnny Thomas here. He's got that inside lane. Damian Leininger clear in front of him, but yeah, I mean, you not much you can do there, unfortunately.
He was on the brakes. I don't know, man.
Yeah, you can't do much there if you're Johnny Thomas. You certainly can't pin that incident on him. That caution came out. Again, I think that would be another one of those situations where it seems to be a popular statement in the chat on YouTube, but you give the UL to Martinsville.
Yeah, I think we maybe need to slide back and look at the replay there from the rear bumper of the 12 car, maybe on a chase view of some sort. But it seemed to me that Johnny didn't expect there to be that little room between himself and Damien. I'm not sure what he was seeing, but from that helmet view that we watched, looked to me like Johnny would have thought there was more room between himself and Damien, and then there ended up not being that.
All right, so here's the restart from the rear bumper of Damian Leininger. You see just how close they get, and I mean that's
There it goes. Yep.
it's just tight quarters here at Martinsville.
And I can't. It's very tough to see that Ryan Gavel had taken on that. He was not at fault whatsoever, and Damien held the lead for a really long time there, and the luck that's been not on his side whatsoever continues to bite him.
So, an interesting progression here. Tyler Fody being classified in front of Johnny Thomas here.
Hmm.
Interesting here, and you got, unfortunately, Damian Leininger waiting to get the wave around by the pace car. But yeah, Tyler Fody, I guess, with the position, I guess when the caution came out, he might have had just a nose ahead of Johnny Thomas before Johnny Thomas was the one who made it through that caution better. So interesting there. So again, another Lake Norman Motorsports car back up front. But again, Tyler Fody, one driver who hasn't been to victory lane yet this season, which is kind of crazy to say, but this season really hasn't gone super well for the driver who made the Final Four in 2020B. He hasn't quite had the results to put it all together. Down 17th in the points.
Yeah, Tyler Fody's been biding his time, though. He knows there's more to go, and he's expecting to be able to move on. Jordan Owens just sent the caution total to us. It is 24.
Oof. Thank you for that, Jordan Owens, but that is brutal and loose on the top there for Johnny Thomas as we're back to green flag racing. That's going to give that bottom lane to Colin Fern. He's going to slide in, and he could be another one of our repeat winners here if he manages to get it done at Martinsville. One at Watkins Glen earlier in the season as well, and some blinking there from that 75 car. Could certainly check some drivers up, and we've got another caution on the track.
25.
It's the 63 car of Hank Steinmiller, and I believe the 23 of Harrison Talon.
Hank got involved in that wreck as well, and oof. Yep.
Here you go, Hank Steinmiller car, that red car with no front bumper, just high up into turn one, loses it, and a hard hit in that outside wall. Harrison Talon, nowhere to go. Oh, just maybe misses it, I think. I didn't see much damage there. Could have been some netcode damage, though.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think Harrison stopped there, and this actually is a blessing for Johnny Thomas right here. He was not going to get back around Colin Fern, but what Johnny now will have is the bottom lane, and he could shut out Colin Fern up on the top. If he and Fody can kind of keep Fern pinned to the top side, and that inside lane kind of shuffles up close and tightens up so that Fern can't get down, they could prevent the newer tires from making any passes. Don't know that would help Johnny win the race, but he might be able to prevent Colin Fern from winning it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the best place to start, it seems, on this racetrack outside of the pole position, the pacing car, is in fact that third position. You get that instant reaction to the guy going in front of you. You've got that bottom line already given to you. It should be advantage Johnny Thomas if he can just get the power down. We saw him have that wheel spin on that last restart, and that could very well happen again here. That's what gave Colin Fern the advantage ultimately there. So still a lot to play for here. Lap 235 of 250, what they're currently running on. Jeff Green with the wave around there. He's had a pretty quiet day. Haven't talked about him too much. Was kind of out of it early on by that first caution flag, really, and wasn't quite able to get back in it all race long. Again, unfortunate season so far for the driver of the number 38 car, running in P31 right now, still one lap down.
Oof. So I think he's gotten several waiver rounds, and Lucky Dogs has Jeff Green. We've seen Ethan Burrell get him, Damian Leininger got him, and actually made it all the way back up to the lead. Yeah, just a number of guys throughout here with comeback stories. Josh Adams back up into 11th, and hate to jinx Josh Adams, but he's been around and backwards a number of times. R.C. Anderson the same in 13th. Trying to get guys that have only had issues so far. Gerald Campbell back up to 10th.
Yeah, I mean, watch that 31 car. He could still pull off a pretty solid result here. He does have some pretty fresh tires compared to some of the other guys around him. I mean, Johnny Thomas, 109 laps. Obviously, many of them under caution, but 109 laps since the last time he saw pit road.
Same for Tyler Fode and Chad Frankenfield. Those guys all on very old tires, and that could mean the battle for the win ends up in the hands of Colin Fern and Chuck Sweeting.
Yeah, so keep keep your attention on this race here. We're coming up to the finish. Lap 237 of 250. 2x2, Tyler Fode with that lead position on the bottom lane. When will he head back to green? When will he put the power back down? It's going to be pretty early here. Colin Fern tries to come down. He does get a little bit of wheel spin there on the top, and is he going to still have that top lane? He's going to try and go for the lead.
He just missed it completely, and Fern is in the wall and has thrown away the chance at the victory. Just like that, it's over for Colin Fern. It's now in the hands of Tyler Fode with Johnny Thomas. Going to be the one trying to hunt him down, though. Chuck Sweeting has the freshest tires. He might be the guy in the catbird seat here. If Chuck can get to the back bumper of Johnny Thomas and get around him and have enough time to hunt down Tyler Fode, that would be enough. Oh, my, I can't believe Colin Fern just absolutely no turn one and just lost it.
Yeah, a huge move there from Colin Fern. No grip on that top lane, and I mean, you kind of see that coming when it happens. Is that the caution flag waving? It is. But no, I mean, shout out Chuck Sweeting. We always talk about these long races and Chuck Sweeting being there in these long races because he is one of the smarter racers on the grid. He knows how to just keep that nose relatively clean, not how to get involved in other people's stuff. Not sure what the cause of the caution was. We'll head back to the iRace Online replay and see what we can find. But you know, he's there at the end. He's able to make these proper decisions, and yeah, I mean that's what you see at a track like this where you need to be smart, you need to be patient. Chuck Sweeting certainly can have great runs here on these racetracks.
Yeah, he can, but it's not like Chuck has had to be patient for very long. We've had 26 cautions and 240 laps, and that will stack them up once again and give Tyler Fode a little bit more nervousness. He's going to have to ensure that the fuel lasts all the way to the finish line, as well as ensure that that 75 car doesn't sneak on by him with those fresher tires.
Yes, sir. Doing a quick little bit of searching here, and I think I found the source of the caution here, and it's an interesting one. Let's take a look here at the iRace Online replay. It's Ryan Gavel and Ethan Burrell. Oh, how they've fallen from grace.
And then Ethan up on his side there, and down and man, Harrison has done everything in his power
as well. And there you see Hank Steinmiller again. I mean, a lot of guys we're seeing in similar situations here, just again getting caught out by a lot of these incidents, and really, really unfortunate.
Well, yeah, Scott Haney coming off the top there. I don't know about that one, and got to give room to the guys below you. Got to hold your line up at the top of the track. And you know, we've been on some of those fast guys for being too impatient all race long, but that one I think not on the fast guys. They were holding their line on the inside, not trying to do too much, and the slower car came off the top of the groove and careened into them.
Yeah, that seems to be how that was, and again, I'm sure we'll have a discussion with race control after this race about different things we can do to improve this short track program that we've got going on here in Elite Racing Leagues. As I think this season certainly shown us that there is work to be done, right? I mean,
for sure.
And yeah, I think we've spoken with admins. We've gotten a chance to be part of that discussion. I think admins are very open to a lot of those changes as well. And yeah, I think the plan, like you said, implementing those shorter races in the next season is going to potentially be a big pro for us. I think it's not going to completely eliminate some races like this. I think we'll still have them every now and then. But hopefully to reduce the numbers so that every time we go to a short track, our first thought isn't just, oh man, we're going to be sitting around and watching cautions for the whole time.
Right, and to me it's redundant. I don't think this even needs to be brought up. The race was too long. We had, I think, 14-ish cautions at lap 250, and then as the race is just drawn on, we would have been done. I think the race would have concluded. Even if we had had a few extra cautions early on, I think that would have been okay. As Tyler Fode gets going, Chuck Sweeting sideways on the start.
Saves it, though. 2
consecutive restarts. The guy with fresh tires has thrown away his chance at the win. This time it's Chuck Sweeting, and he has to go through 3 cars to get to Tyler Fode. Definitely don't think he'll be able to do that. He'll have to do battle with Matthew Weeks for 5th. Meanwhile, it's Johnny Thomas trying to hunt down Tyler Fody.
And they're coming up to 5 laps to go here. They're 3 wide behind them, though. And watch this battle here with Gerald Campbell on the inside, Colin Fern and Andrew Rucker on the outside. They do survive that corner there. We saw some smoke, some tire smoke there.
Rucker
but they
gets
don't.
hurt. And Campbell as well, and Tyler Dixon sucked up in it, nowhere to go. Everyone's still rolling, and the caution's out anyway.
We'll head to a green-white checker then, and yeah, there you go. Man, I
really, yeah. So, yeah, like we can. It's one of those. I commented this in the Elite Racing chat. We can only say, well, they should maybe change something so many times. So we can only say, they shouldn't have done that so many times. Andrew Rucker should not have just zoomed into Colin Fern here off the corner. Obviously, there's just just ran it over. It's we can only say that so many times before it starts kind of getting old, getting repetitive. We know.
Yeah, and we apologize for those watching at home. Of course, some of these moves we've been seeing just repeats of one another time and time again, and that's not what you want to be seeing at tracks like this. Yes, there can be similar mistakes being made, and of course we've seen self spins that have been very similar to other ones. But I mean, at some point, it's not a Martinsville thing. It's a short track thing in general, where guys are. There seems to be some thought process where if there is a space on the track where your nose can fit, that means it's okay to put your nose there, and that's not the truth. That's not quite how this type of racing goes, because that gap is extremely fluid. It's a transient gap. It changes all the time. It's not always going to be there, and you need to be able to predict what's going to happen half a second down the road, just half a second down the road. I'm not talking 5-10 seconds down the road, half a second down the road from when you make your mind to go for a move. You need to think just a little bit further rather than being as in the moment as a lot of these guys are, where it's just, I see a gap, I go for gap, I cause crash. That doesn't work.
Yeah, there's just, we got, there's only so many times we can stare into another replay of a crash and say, well, there's a guy that's not giving up any caution, any patience, or any room to the competitors or anything like that. We've seen plenty of issues where guys have just simply lost control of the car, and those I'll never have an issue with those, right? That's a racing deal. It's tough to control these cars sometimes, but when you're the wreck is completely avoidable, and all it takes is for you to not hit the gas 100% coming off of turn 2, instead hit it 86%. And just give that guy just enough room to get up off the wall so you guys can go down the back straightaway. You have to take it. I don't see how we have to do it. It's okay. Chad has already said he doesn't want to have another conversation about it, and I think that's a good idea. We know this racing is problematic right now, and we just got to get better as a league.
Yeah, absolutely here. But what I can say for the first time where I can be 100% sure tonight is this will be the final restart. We are going green-white checker to the end here, and the next flag will call it. We do not have multiple attempts, just a single attempt at this green-white checker. So if you're Tyler Fody, you're really looking forward to this. You've probably got the best shot here, and you're probably hoping that that people mess it up right away at this restart, because that calls the race right there on the restart, and no more laps have to be covered after that.
Don't think Tyler Fody's going to have too much of a trouble here. He's going to get that big jump, and the only person we've seen to be able to take the lead in the restart is now in the back in the 1 car, Ryan Gabel.
Well, here we go. Tyler Fody back to green, and he does a great job. He clears that 09 car of Johnny Thomas. They're already spun around Josh Personette. The caution flag is out. The race is won by Tyler Fody.
Fody, Johnny Thomas, and Chad Frankenfield will be joining us in the booth. We'll have to see what Chad has to say about this one.
Absolutely. We'll let them lap around, and it'll be official here in one more lap here. Tyler Fody hits that yellow-white flag, I guess. This kind of strange waved situation that we're not super used to seeing here in NASCAR racing, but we've had situations where we've had green-white checkers go way too long, and that decision was made a few seasons back to abolish the multiple green-white checker finishes. So. Yep. Tyler Fody will cross the line this time by and be your victor. Ethan Burrell very much happy to just end the day, but there you go. Winner at Martinsville for the first time this season, Tyler Fody. Second place, Johnny Thomas. Third place, Chad Frankenfield. Before we talk to these guys, I know we've seen this enough times here. Let's go to the iRace Online replay just for one more time. See, do this final restart the Justice and see exactly what happened there.
Look, it's the same thing over again. I know exactly what happened. I was watching it. Someone's not giving any respect to anyone else on the track, and I'm pretty fed up with it, man. Let me just tell you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna close my mouth after that, but man, I'm kind of fed up with this same stuff by the kind of same people.
Yep, so Josh Personette there just loses it. Yeah, Josh Personette just kind of loses it there a little bit too quick.
Oh, and Zach Evans, Damian Leininger into the wall. Yeah. Well, I was wrong there, and Fern didn't run him over. I thought for sure he did, the way the car jerked to the right. But no, he didn't. Wheel spin on the restart. These guys just did not get a hold of that restart there, and there it is. Tyler Fode, your race winner.
Yeah, Tyler Fode gets the job done, and credit to Tyler Fode. Again, these longer races, you also look, Lake Norman Motorsports especially tends to be very strong on these. I say that as we watched as 3 cars took themselves out later in this race, but Tyler Fode won the Brickyard 400 last season, was in the Final Four, competing for a championship, back to victory lane for Tyler Fode.
Yep, and he'll be able to celebrate. It's good for him to get that win. He will lock himself into the playoffs.
That's a big deal for him. He was on the outside looking in. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. He was running 17th in points this season, and only 14 cars make it into the chase. So, yeah, I mean, great for Tyler Fode. I didn't have many doubts that he would have pointed his way in otherwise, but to lock himself in again, that's just a little bit less stress heading into these Wednesday night races.
Right, and Fode's he's gonna be fine anyway. He was gonna point his way in regardless, I think. But we take a look through the top 10. That can't be right, and in fact, I don't believe that it is.
That is not correct. Yeah, that's a strange situation there with timing and scoring messing up. We apologize for that. Nice catch there. Tyler Fode was obviously your race winner at the end there, but it was Johnny Thomas and Chad Frankenfield who rounded out your top 3. Slightly unsure as to why we had that issue there with timing and scoring, so apologize that we aren't able to bring you guys the full results here.
Trying to see if those guys are going to join into our into our rating room for the interviews. Don't know if I want to pull them in directly, but there we go. Tyler Fode's joined the waiting room, so we'll bring in race winner Tyler Fode. There he is right there. Tyler Fode, congratulations on the win, man. I know it was a long one.
Yeah, man. One second here. Okay, you got me?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Congrats on the win, man. I know it was a long one. Talk about what kind of developed there for you to get the win there over Johnny. I know the wild restart is kind of what played the factor into you getting that dub.
Yeah, I don't really remember anything past the last 10 laps of this race, to be honest with you. There's been so much round and around. We were just trying to set it up here to get one of us in position. We had Damian, Gavel, and me, and Hank even, all in the top 5 at one point. I don't know. We were falling in line, and Johnny kind of sent Damian and Gavel, and by, I guess, just my luck, it gave me the position over Johnny, which I didn't think it would. But once we got that, it was just about getting decent restarts and having a big enough gap to just stay out there before the next yellow. So that's really all it came down to, but I'll take it for the season I've been having.
Tyler, I was going to mention that there, and it has not been a straightforward season for you, especially when you compare it to your regular season championship run last season. Obviously, tonight locks you into that chase, assuming you meet that attendance requirement that we have here. Just how much strain does that take off your chest a little bit? Obviously, you weren't too far out of the chase. You were sitting in 17th position with 14 cars going in, but with how competitive the field is and how awful your luck has been at some of these races so far this season, how worried were you as we were coming down to 5 races to go before the regular season ended?
Yeah, it was starting to grow on me a little bit. I got to admit, was not feeling too great with the races winding down here. And a lot of it, there's been some bad luck, and some of it's also been on my own end from being too aggressive. But no, just to get this off my back, I think we can focus now more on the races ahead and just try and get back into a rhythm heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, Tyler, and as you're thinking ahead about the playoffs, now that you're locked in, are you going to try to kind of relax a little bit, or are you going to still go for these wins and these playoff points to maybe get yourself a better shot at making it through those first couple of rounds of the chase?
Yeah, at this point, I need to grab as many extra playoff points as I can to get me started off on the right foot there. Definitely just got to keep the momentum up here going forward, and I want to go out and actually try and earn one of these wins here instead of just pacing to them.
All right, well, Tyler, before we let you go here, unless you had one more question there, David.
Nope, you're good.
All right, perfect. Before we let you go, then, just want to give you a chance to shout out anybody here on the air on the Elite Racing Network.
Yeah, the whole team there, like Norman Motorsports. I mean, it wasn't for a lack of trying. I know the results aren't going to be too hot for the rest of us, but we were definitely all there in the end, trying our best. So big shout out to them. Shout out to Blue Egg Marketing and Days Gone By for being the sponsors this season. Really appreciate it, and thanks to you guys for commentating these things and putting on a show for us to watch back at the end.
All right, man. Congratulations, and enjoy this victory, locking yourself into the chase.
Yep, will do.
All right, that was race winner then Tyler Fody. We're going to be joined now by our second place finisher. If we can grab him in here. And Johnny Thomas, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, Johnny. I mean, a great run there towards the end. I mean, a lot of pace in that 09 car, working your way back up to the second position after grabbing the pole early on. Certainly not a straightforward day from your point of view. A little bit of up and down there with tire strategy and coming back through the field. I mean, just talk us through what it was like, those final few laps, pacing like that. I mean, how do you formulate, as the guy sitting in second position, or I think on a few restarts earlier you were in fourth position, how do you start formulating a plan to start working when you know you've probably got about half a lap to work with?
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing with these short tracks is, there's a certain point in the race where it just becomes every 3 laps we get a caution or less than that. So you want to be first or third in these instances where there's going to be a caution every lap. And, I thought like we had the best car tonight on the long run, especially early in the race. We dropped back there. We had some pit road penalty, some iRacing glitch that put like 5 guys in the back. I had to claw my way back up through there. It's not too many times that I'm the fastest car on the track, so I want to take advantage of it. And this tonight, I think we were. Me and Ethan were pretty fast. Gavel was fast, and then that restart there, you're just trying to get everything you can get. And Damien and Gavel are teammates, and I knew Damien was going to try to squeeze that gap there on the bottom, and split-second decision like that, what the outcome is going to be if the guy in third's not a pushover, and I ain't no pushover, and I hit him. Did I mean to? No, but you can't do stuff like that. And I mean, if he expects me to lift and let off, then he expects me to finish third or fourth, and I ain't doing that when I got a fast car. I'm not a dirty driver, as you guys all know that, but when it comes to the final laps in a short track, you got to do whatever you can do to try to win it.
Yeah, Johnny. I guess then take us to the. You're going to be the points leader by a decently healthy margin, I think now. And are you able to kind of take away a lot of positives from this second place finish?
Yeah, David, I can. But to be honest with you, I mean, the points are sweet, but this is some of the best competition in iRacing, and anytime you can have a chance to win, you got to take full advantage of that. And I feel like these short tracks, these super speedways, those are the tracks that I feel like I can win at. And I want to. The points leader is great. I mean, I can't believe that I'm the points leader, but we put together some solid results. I think moving over to Richmar with Chad and Andrew and RC has helped me a ton. But I want to win more than I want to be first, because that ain't going to get you anywhere, especially not racking up any chase points.
Well, man, I love the run you've been having so far this season. It's been a great jump up for you, and seeing that 09 car running up front has been an absolute pleasure this season. We're gonna let you go here to at least enjoy the second place finish, get the points, but give us some shout outs here for anybody you might want to hear on the air while we've got you.
Yeah, for sure. Manscaped, man, they support me, and it wasn't a clean shaven race. It almost was, but it wasn't. So the Manscaped car did pretty good. Belly Up Sports, Mike Brown, and everybody at Belly Up Sports, they do a tremendous job, and they support me. They've supported me in multiple different series for multiple years, and I want to give them guys a shout out. And Richmar Floors Esports, for all them guys helping me out, and you guys for putting on this thing. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Johnny Thomas, and yeah, great job with that second place run there.
Yep, thanks, guys.
All right. Not sure if we're going to be hearing from our third place finisher, Chad Frankenfield.
I think he's about to get back to us here. Just I'm typing in the chat. He said he can't do an interview. So I guess with that, we'll kind of wrap this thing up. Maybe a speedy wrap up here. We'll be ready for Pocono next week. I think that one will be a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, Pocono, looking forward to that. Haven't been there in the Cup Series in a little while, I'm pretty sure. So excited to return to the Tricky Triangle. I know it's been a little bit questionable with this modern Cup package in terms of how it races, but a larger track back up to 2.5 miles. So exciting. We'll get these cars back up to some of the higher speeds there. But some final thoughts for Martinsville then, David.
We're done with short tracks. Final thought. I'm good. We don't have to go back to those. Big shout out to Vincent Isabella, finished 12th with a beat up race car. Did a great job. Caleb Thompson's in the top 10 as well, I think, and he got beat up all race long. Jordan Owens is in the top 10, I think, maybe 11th. So these guys that persevered and worked all the way to the end. Great job on them, man. That's all let's see. I think that's it. Nope, that's not it. Oh, yeah. Great job to everyone around there that ran, and hopefully we'll put on a better show for you guys next week.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we apologize for not being able to bring you guys the final results table. A bit of a glitch in timing and scoring there. That's all available if you check out the Elite Racing Twitter channel over there, or the Twitter account at Elite Racing _. With that, we're done here at Martinsville. I think many of these haulers are probably already packed out and trying to get away from this racetrack as quickly as possible, and I think we might try to do the same here. Definitely a tricky night, but Dave and I happy to bring you guys all the action. So with that, this has been the Elite Racing Network. It's been the JoinAPS.com Cup Series, the 2021 A season, the SMRI Productions 250 at Martinsville. Thank you all so much for watching, and a big congratulations to Tyler Fody, your race winner.